Welcome everybody to StarCastTV Star League Group E. I am joined by Voddy again. What's going on, man?
What's going on is that I'm about to watch some pretty sick StarCraft here, actually.
Yeah, we've got a pretty stacked group. We've got Best, and we've got Barracks, who is well known in the scene right now, but we've got two Zergs that we don't get to see that quite often. We see Hyun, he's an old school NBC game hero player, and Saber, I can't remember what team he was on, but I know he was in the Name Clan, and Cruiser's telling me Saber was in Hwasana, so he's obviously got the skills to go up against these caliber of players, but it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, Hyun was an A-teamer and then a StarCraft 2 pro gamer as well for once. He was actually very strong when he played. If he's been playing actively now, I would expect him to be strong again, but yeah, like you said, we haven't seen him recently, so we don't know. But I look forward to seeing him.
Yeah, and Hyun has got really cool styles too, especially in Zerg versus Terran. I remember, was it Moonglaive was a map? It was like a 3-player blue map. I remember he pulled out Hydra Guardian. It was the first time I had ever seen it, and I remember seeing the cameras and watching the Terran players' expressions as it came and hit them. I think he actually played versus C with that strategy, and it was very, very cool and very, very powerful. And you know, these days on the ladder, you actually get to run into it. So you players out there that are wondering where did this style come from, you can thank Hyun for that, bringing it out about 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. I did not know that he did that.
I'm pretty sure it was him the first time that I ended up seeing that. So cool play. Hopefully we'll get to see in this series. We're looking at the groups that we have in the StarCastTV Star League. As you can see, we're already in Group E, but we've got 3 more groups afterwards. And one that stands out to me is, of course, the last group. That is pretty crazy. Soma and Rush both in the same group, but also looking forward to Group G because we got Mr. Scan in there, and everybody loves Scan in the foreign scene.
Yeah, that we do. He actually used to play in some foreign tournaments. I think he was like in America or something, so his ping was better, and that's why he played in all the foreign events back then. And of course JYJ and Saxry. The last player, the other Terran in there, I actually don't, well, actually I have 3 Terrans, but KOP, I have not seen his games before, so do you know anything about him?
I don't know anything about him. I remember the name, but I'm for some reason blanking on what games I actually saw of him. But
okay.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly, but regardless, Group G, you know that's going to be a long group. 3 Terran players, only a single Zerg, and Cruiser's mentioning Cop was on Samsung Khan, Team B. So we've got a lot of B teamers actually showing up in this Star League. And you know, yesterday I was quite impressed with Jider, even though he didn't make it out. He played quite well and he had opportunities to take down Mini, so maybe Cop could actually make an upset in that group.
Yeah, you never know with these killers, dude. I mean, if Jider's anything to go by. Now, speaking of underrated killers in today's group, I mean, it would have to be Saber, I suppose, if we're gonna have to pick a dark horse, because everyone else is quite known. And even Saber used to be a pro, actually. He was in a team house, so, and I've played him myself. I know he's actually, like, I know he's strong, but he's probably the one people haven't seen the most of.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing any of his games, so his style is completely new to me. Of course, everybody knows Best style, everybody knows Barracks style, and maybe not so familiar with Hyun, but yeah, looking forward to seeing his gameplay. And with all that said, we are ready to get into Game 1, so let's do that just now. It's going to be on Premiere. Okay, in the top left, we have our Zerg player. I'm pretty sure this is big. And in the top right, we have our product player. It is F.
Okay, they also always have so many nicknames. Are we sure whether this is Hyun or Saber here? Because I haven't seen Saber with a name like this when I play.
Let me actually check, because I guess I'm technically not sure who this is. It might actually be Hyun, because I feel like I actually played Hyun. Yeah, it is Hyun. So it is
Okay.
Hyun, and I played him on ladder actually, like when I was in Korea a couple years ago, and I remember him using the Nyoken name.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Because I played against Saber and he had a different name. So it's Young. Okay, okay.
Cool.
Close
Look at this
positions
one.
here.
You see
And,
this from best?
Yeah, this is an inside pylon against Zerg. Like it's 2001 or something. Okay, he's gonna make a gateway on the outside, I suppose. So he's gonna gateway expansion, but he doesn't want to expose his gateway, apparently. Interesting. I mean, expose his pylon, sorry.
Yeah, expose the pylon. I'm curious what the reason is, because you know, it's not like he can still build a forge to the left of it. He's still gonna have to build a pylon at some point. So this is a peculiar way to go for the gateway opener, but you know, I guess we'll see how it pans out. Meanwhile, this probe is about 5 seconds too late to block that hatchery, so that's going to be a little bit annoying.
That was not a 12 hatch. That's why he got away with it. Did you see that? That was actually an 11 hatch. So pretty interesting stuff from him.
Very nicely done. I didn't even realize that. We do have the drone, of course, doing a little bit of harassment, and we had the attempted double pull because the probe was close to blocking the one at the top. You know,
yeah, the Overlord's about to see this soon. It's about to see the weird lack of a pylon down there, and I don't know if that's gonna like make him. I mean, it weakens the defense a little bit because you can't make a forge immediately, right?
Yeah.
So you can't wall off. So I don't know if he's gonna like go for a link. I mean, he doesn't have speed on the way, so I guess he won't. But first, they're getting scouted now.
He also built another pylon in his main. Like I thought, okay, maybe the first pylon will be right where he built it. You know, maybe you can get it down a little bit faster because you don't have to go down to the natural. But then he also builds it into the main, so like you said, he can't wall anymore. This is, I don't think I've seen this before. We're gonna.
But you know what this is good about? The reason this is good, I suppose, is that if you're going for one gate expansion like he is now, then a lot of the time what you'll do is you'll block the ramp. By the way, we're about to lose a drone here, possibly. Good micro so far from Zerg, but you block the ramp with one Zealot and maybe a probe, and then you know you fight the rest of them down there, and so you actually get losing one drone. Big deal so far. You actually get to sit there with like links hitting your building a while, and the gateway has more health than the pylon. So by not exposing that, it actually helps out. Trying to nest his way in here. Good micro to pick up the probe.
Yeah, and did a good job to eliminate that pesky probe. And well, despite that, the Zealot, he is holding on strong. He's already gotten what, 3 kills? Okay, well done from him. And that second Zealot actually does back off. Meanwhile, Hyun, he's taking his third base at the really close by third base, and I am just noticing now, Hyun doesn't have gas, not even now. Just now getting it at 337. Wow, did that drone really bug out?
He just killed his own drone?
Well, that's because it was stuck on the corner of the pool.
That is rough, dude. I have never seen that happen before.
That's one of those where you wish it was League of Legends, you pause the game and you call the ref over and you're just like, dude, this should never happen, because that is clearly important to all the races, but especially important to Zerg to never lose a drone that early.
Okay, so overall, pretty good opening for Best. He doesn't realize how good it is since an extra drone died, but even with what he saw, he should be happy with how things went. And see how late that cannon is as well, and how late everything is really, except for the stuff you want to get. So late forge, late cannon, he gets away with it. Only thing he doesn't have turbo quickly is the gas, but it's still fast enough, you know. If the core is on par with the lair, you're okay as Protoss. And it's actually ahead right now of the lair, and in fact we didn't even see a lair, we see a Hydra then.
I think this is kind of your only move, right? Everything's going to be so slow with a 340 gas. Like, how are you supposed to match the Corsairs at that point? We've got a 5 Zealot move out, and there's 7 Lings. This is going to do so much damage.
He's going to scout this Hydra then too, easily, because he has so many Zealots already because of how, you know, well everything's been going so far. And, you know, even drones have to be, but he may lose a few of those. Okay, so he doesn't make it into the main, so he's got that going for him at least. Yeah.
He loses 2, but now the Zealot's getting to a sweet spot. Okay, ends up taking down another Zealot, but not the best trades for Zerg anymore. If I was Protoss here, I'd be confused. Why does Zerg still not have meat on their Zerg motor? I would be very suspicious of that. We actually have a third or another Zealot into the third base, but there's nothing there to kill.
Yeah, it looks like he's not getting any information, but when you scout like this, you're confirming that, okay, so far there are no hydralisks, you know, so far there's nothing like that. It's actually very important, very valuable to concept this scout. It just doesn't look like anything, because when you do get to scout everything, nothing happens and you don't die, right? So it's a preemptive measure.
Yep, and we did get a look at the natural and did see that the forge is in the normal spot, cannons and pylon in the normal spot. I guess that pylon placement just really does allow you to get down the gateway a couple seconds faster. But other than that, everything's played out very normal. We've got the Sarah coming out. We've got a really fast 4-gate follow-up, actually. Like, this is extremely quick to have 4 gators already done at 6:25 or so.
Yeah, he may have enough zealots to just overpower the hydralisks, and it puts Zerg in a bad position where if they make drones, they get punished by the zealots, but then if they don't make drones, Protoss is making probes behind the zealots. And I don't think he's gonna be able to stop the upgrade on the forge either with his hydralisks. But we're about to find out, I suppose. So he actually hasn't seen hydralisks until now, which is very fortunate considering how far... Oh, damn, I'm losing a Corsair too. For how long Best was actually there and scouting everything.
Yep, we do have the Hydras on the doorstep now. There's, what, like 8 or 9 of them right now? This is a decent amount. Somehow Best already has 5 more Zealots. Remember, he's already knocked off or donked off about 7 Zealots so far. So for him to still have 5 left over is quite
He did
impressive.
cancel it, okay.
Oh, he did cancel. Okay, nicely done there. And there's so much stuff already. I don't think there's any chance that these Hydras actually busting through. And you do see, actually, Hyun's going to try and transition out of this.
Yeah, that's gonna be rough though, because of what I said. I mean, the Zealots will come out when they have speed, and they won't have +1 at least, so that's good. But at that point, you know, if you've been making drones, it's going to be an issue. A Dark Templar could also be good here since there's no Overlord speed. Once Protoss gets out on the map and has map control, DTs do become an issue where you get hit with Zealots at one spot and DTs at another, stuff like that. Because as you were saying, a 4th base on the way, that does spread out a lot.
Don't know if we'll be able to hold this. There are so many Zealots already out on the map. Hyun is completely blindsided by how many Zealots there are, and this is going to be such a hard thing to stop. He even built a macro hatch at his natural and at his 3rd base, so it's 6 hatch Zerg, but he's got to worry about 3 different areas to defend.
Yeah, and I bet Best is making like a DT right now. It could definitely be a game-winning move. And now, look at this too, even. Sending a few Zealots to delay the hydralisks while the rest go for the main.
And he's just going to bulldoze both areas. And the Hydras are going to have to retreat from both sides. One side goes up the ramp, and maybe they'll trade well enough there, but probably not. It's 4v4, and everybody knows how that's going to go. Zealots are going to win that battle pretty easily.
And at the same time, on the 3rd base now, Zealots coming in, and drones have to be transferred. It's just utter disorder. Disorder.
Yeah, and Protoss sees that none of the hatches have a lair, so there's no chance that there could be a lurker switch. He doesn't need to go robo anymore. He can just literally build mass Zealot, mass Goon, and just easily overrun every position.
Yeah, you're right. He could actually win without Storm. Possibly. If Zerg stabilizes, he would have to get Storm. And it looks like Zerg is about to kill the Zealots here. The remaining one. So a lot of lost mining time, a lot of good damage. This is definitely good for Protoss and stuff. Keep in mind, the only reason Hyun is able to stop this like this is that he's making only Hydras, no drones, and isn't taking the lair. So we got the DT coming up now, and that's going to be a card that Best is going to be able to play later against these exposed bases here.
Yeah, and Hyun is supply blocked right now. He only has 25 drones. Yes, he technically stopped the attack right now, but how does he ever transfer out of this? Protoss is at 50 workers. Econ is nuts. This isn't like the game we saw of Action versus DeWalt, where there was a lot of Hydras being built, and then all of a sudden it exploded into 45 drones. Like, there's no Econ right now. And even if he goes for a drone cycle, Protoss is probably just going to jump on him as soon as he sees it. We've got the DT looking to find an opening, but Overlord and Hydra's in good position across all the bases. Oh, as I say that, there we go.
There. However, the next step is Storm. And if you don't have any lurkers, you know, like, the main Zerg army really is it's lurker, lean, hydralisk, right? That's how you deal with the Zerg Dragoon Templar. and he only has Hydralisks, and we may even have a double Forge upgrades by the time Best finally attacks here, because he did get a second Forge in his main. So he's probably working on 1-1 right now.
Yeah, and we've got 8 gate production from Best. Despite losing the gateway, he has rebuilt it, and he has a ton of production. We've got 4 Templars banking up energy, so by the time he moves out, they all may have double Storm available to them. Hyun has done a good job to recover in supply, shockingly. He's only down 30 right now. He's got 41 drones. That's pretty damn good. If he can somehow survive this incoming attack, I would say he's actually got a shot, but it all comes down to what he can do versus this one huge attack coming in.
Yeah, he's got a few units. Okay, one-shotting a drone. 2 drones, okay, decent damage. But see how he's got like a forward force, keeping track of when the Protoss moves out? That's extremely important, and in a more normal, even game, you can actually harass the Protoss army and skirmish and snipe units, bait Storm, snipe Templar, snipe any unit really. But here, he just, first of all, has so many units at home to deal with that DT potentially, right? That all this is doing is scouting. You can't really challenge this at all. You can't really delay it at all. And because he just doesn't have enough units to, so Protoss is allowed to just take so much terrain for free without any harassment. First Storm goes down, good dodge. Okay, getting one snipe. Just doing a little bit of what I talked about.
Yeah, and like I said, when Protoss saw that there was no lair, that's why you see him just moving out now with hopefully no lurkers, because it's impossible to have lurkers. And if he does, like, they're just morphing right now. There's the 1-1 power spike that you were talking about. He's got a decent amount of Hydras, but the problem is he's still down 40 supply. There's also, I saw no Sunkens at any of the bases. Those Storms have been pretty damn good. He needs a lot of the Hydras, and that means that this base is going to have to be sacked.
Yeah, there are just way too many Protoss units now, not enough Zerg units. Not enough quality either on the Zerg units, that's the issue. So he droned to come back in the game, and now he dies for this. And if he hadn't droned, he would probably still have died. It's just so bad.
Yeah, of course, I'm not sure if it was that one drone extra that he ended up losing, but of course, that one drone does hurt quite a lot to the Zerg race, and this is probably going to be the final attack here. There's just not enough Zerg. There's just so much Protoss. Protoss has already got a third base basically completed.
I think he took control with the Zealots early, honestly. The first attack, the second attack, I just did so well, and that led into the third attack, which led into this.
Hydras are shredding the Zealots pretty damn well, but there's still no reinforcements. There's DG. Well done from Best, and he'll be already moving into our winners match.
Very characteristic, classic Best style of PvZ here in this game, you know?
Yeah, and you know, I actually think PvZ is best matchup, even though we always talk about his Protoss versus Terran. I remember his ASL stats. It was like 60% win rate versus like this guy's actually a monster in that matchup.
Yeah, isn't that funny? He was known for always losing his Corsairs, Vector and Kespa. And now I have to agree, I believe it's his best matchup, yeah.
Yeah, I often see him just crushing these Zerg players, and this seems like a really good group for Best. If we just assume Barracks will make it out, just because I think Barracks is probably better than Saber right now, like Barracks is ASL caliber, not too sure about Saber, but I mean it wouldn't even matter who comes out of that group really, because Best is so good versus Terran, and then if he gets Saber, I mean you just saw what he did to Hyun. I mean it wasn't close. So we're going to be going into our next match, which is going to be Barracks versus Saber, so it's going to be a TVC this time, and we'll see Saber has chopped moving to the winners along with that. So in the top left, our red Zerg, it is Saber. And in the top right, our white Terran, it is Barracks. Well,
I favor Barracks in this. Well, I mean, statistically, he has achieved more so far. So Saber is the underdog. But I happen to know that Saber definitely has a chance to win here. After seeing his games and playing against him and stuff, he's definitely capable of taking down Barracks. But Barracks, of course, having qualified for ASL before, which, as far as I know, Saber is not done.
Okay, well, What about game style for Saber? Is he? I assume he's a Muta player, but is he somebody like Zealot where he actually mixes in Hydra lurker openers? Is that
Yeah,
possible?
on certain maps. I've seen him do it a lot on certain maps. I don't know if he's gonna do it on this map. Like he's done it on a bunch of 2-player maps. So okay, we've got an 8-Rax by the way, so we're gonna see how he deals with that. But yeah, I've definitely seen him go a lot of Hydra lurker on 2-player maps specifically.
Okay, well maybe he'll pull it out this time. I did have to say that as soon as I saw his name, the UKKZ tag, I was like, wow, I've played those players, and it makes me wonder if I've actually played him.
Yeah, he had a name called UKKC Dark also, that was one of his names, so if you play that, you have.
Okay, I'm pretty sure actually I've played that one. I don't think I've played the Saber one, but we do have a 12-hatch opener from Saber here, and that's pretty much the dream scenario for Barracks right now, especially if Saber builds additional drones.
Yeah, this 8-Rax meta right now, where Terrans are just doing 8-Rax all the time, you know. It's only allowed to exist because Zergs are doing hatch first all the time, right? Like, if they were to go 12 pool, it just wouldn't work. Now, obviously, you can go like 9 pool and stuff, but that's bad against standard play, so you really don't want to gamble that hard, you know?
Well, luckily for Saber, he's going to see it coming from a mile away. His Overlord's already in position. Did spot the depot. Not too sure if he spotted the racks just yet.
So he's going to be able to choose here whether he wants to pull a lot of drones and block everything, or pull fewer drones and then link flood. Getting a gas even. Okay, no, I thought that was a little bit cocky.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I was about to say, you remember yesterday, 8:15, every time he spotted the 8-Rax, canceled the gas. And that's going to be the case here. And again, we're going to have another long-distance bunker. Yesterday, Mong didn't even try to, or Sock didn't even try and push it forward. He just left it there to be annoying.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So we don't skip from drones. So one drone goes down. Good start.
This is dangerous, because now it's 5 versus 3 Marines, or 5 versus 2 Marines. Wow, he got all 5 of the drones on top of that Marine, takes it down, takes out another Marine. Only loses 2 drones. I think that's okay for Zerg.
If all you use is 2 drones, and you didn't really lose that much mining time, you didn't pull that many, like right now, yeah, that's totally fine for sure. That is a very playable position. Only losing 2 like this when you only pulled like 6, you know?
That's a good trade for Zerg right now, and that drone split that we saw at the very end, splitting up the angle of attack, was actually really sick right there.
Yeah, and he only made 4 Zerglings because the bunker never finished, so this is quite good for Zerg, I have to say. That this is a very comfortable opening for a Zerg user against an 8-Rax.
You know, I wonder what Barracks is going to do. I guess obviously he's going to build a command center, but is he going to be feeling confident to go +1 after I think he scouted gas, didn't realize that it was canceled just yet.
Well, one thing he's doing is, hey man, you only have 4 links, so deal with these 3 Marines and an SCV. And he can do that because he was scouting the whole time. Oh, but 2 more links pop up, just in the nick of time.
Nicely done from Saber. And Barracks will not get baited in. Luckily, Barracks saw the 2 links pop out, because if he had went in there, he'd probably lose on everything. And now he's on full-on retreat.
He never saw that army there, so he doesn't know, you know. I mean, he knew it could be there, that's why he made 2 more links. Very well done, but he actually didn't know that it was there. And, oh, look at this drone block.
A good drone block. He's going to get another SCV, and despite seeing the gas, Barracks must just have a read on Saber that, hey, the most likely follow-up is you cancel the gas, because he's going for a +1 weapon. And he would be in big-time trouble if this was a non-canceled gas, because Spire, relative to your Academy timing, would have been so quick. That Overlord unfortunately gets popped.
Yeah, that was a little bit too far forward, getting popped there by the Barracks division. So that's an unfortunate turn of events there, really equalizing this game a lot more, maybe even putting turns slightly ahead, although I don't want to go that far.
Yeah, looking at the worker count, Zerg looks like they're in a fantastic spot. It was even workers for just a moment. Now it's just a slight advantage simply because he lost the Overlord and can't build anything, but once he's able to pump out some more drones, he'll catch up real quick.
Yeah, especially since Zerg can save Larva, you know, so it's not as bad to be control blocked for Zerg.
We do have Academy about to finish, so upgrades are going to be relatively quick for how this game has gone. We've got the 3rd hatch already basically done in the main, so Saber's Econ seems to be on fire right now. Fire is about halfway done.
Yeah, now at this point, Terran is starting to get away with the SCV count, right? So we had like an even count before, which is amazing for Zerg, but right now Terran is shooting ahead, and that's of course because Saber is saving Larva for Mutalisks, right? Most likely he's gonna want to pop as many as possible all at once. 4 barracks coming up for Terran, and +1.
The Barracks Flood, pretty normal follow-up for Terran right now, and we hear the first scan go off, and he's going to see that, wow, your Spire's still not done, so he can still just power up. He may even build a 5th Rax after scanning that. At least I would consider that, because he still doesn't have the turrets right now.
Oh, wow, good medic snipe.
That's a pretty ballsy move, too, because the Marines are right there, but fought a medic. That's great.
Yeah, that's actually so amazing. Alright, so we should have the Mutalisks on the way now. And probably Saber wants to take a 3rd of gas, most likely. And he actually has a lot of different spots to go for. He could go for the one right below his natural, he could go for another main, or 6th lock even. And he's gonna go for, yeah, this is something Saber does sometimes. He takes a natural base against Terran. And I used to think he only did it to me because he thought I'm like a weaker player and he can get away with it. But here he is doing it in the tournament, so it's just what he does apparently. Or maybe he feels like he can get away with it because he's ahead. It's of course really strong if you get it, because you can make the Sunkens right there and then take a 4th behind it.
Yeah, I really like when certain players take that base because of exactly what you said, the ability to just take the 4th so easily. Like, you don't have to come down the ramp anymore. You don't have to rely on Dark Swarm to actually successfully get it down. And the Mutas are in the natural, and if we look at the SCV count,
yeah,
that's very low at the natural, actually.
Yeah, and we got the Terran trying to threaten a counterattack, but we have at least 2 sunken colonies, so Zerg isn't really scared of that. And Terran doesn't know where the 3rd gas of Saber is, because, like I said, there are so many spots on this map, and that's an unorthodox spot to pick as well.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough to scan. Hopefully Barracks starts ramping up his tech or something, because, like you said, this is an isolated group. This is not very big. Zerg is not worried about that. And Terran, I would say, needs to get the hell off the map, because it is about to get slammed by Meadow. Well,
yeah, I mean, he needs to not let this unit link up. If these units link, that is horrible for him. So if he can cut these off or kill the main army, that's good. Gonna go for the main army now a little bit, picking up 1 unit.
Look at this bouncing back of the Marines back and forth, and now finally Saber feels like he's got the angle, and goodbye Marines. Very well done from him. But if we look at the worker count, it's still quite low for Zerg, but Terran not doing much better, just at 34 workers. Wow, that's a lot of links. Okay, I was wondering why his drone count was so low.
Yeah. So I guess he ended up over-making links a little bit, but I mean, like, as you were saying, I agree that Terran overstepped there, because if that army had gone out there, caused all of those links to be made, but then not die, then actually make it back and relink, we would have been looking at a very different game right now. As it is right now, Terran is on a little bit shaky ground, but this sneaky force of Marines going out could be good. It's not going to catch the whole base, but it might kill some drones if they're there. But right now, I don't think we have that many drones, do we? At the 3rd base, so here we go. Okay, we actually do.
This was such a risky attack, and the Mutas are all the way across the map. If they were, like, in the center, I actually don't think he would kill the hatch. But because they're all the way across the map,
he might actually. Yeah, he will.
He's got the hatch, and he got the hatch.
Dude, what a risky play from Terran, but getting away with it. Just, like, that's some Slayer's Boxer stuff right there, where, like, if he catches that, if Zerg catches this, you're, like, in mega deep trouble. But it's high risk, high reward, right? So he got the amazing. I really didn't think he would. I didn't think Zerg would get that far away, but when we saw this about to happen, Zerg was a lot closer to the base.
Well, at least Zerg did have an additional larva there, so he instantly builds a drone, and will probably rebuild that hatch. We've got armory for Valkyries on the starport, but we also have a science facility at the same time. So not too sure what the game plan is from Barracks just yet.
Damn, I wish, you know, Saber would have just had like a few Zerglings spread out on the map, right? Because that would have stopped that easily, and he would have just gotten further ahead by killing more Marines. But good job by Barracks taking that calculated risk and getting away with it. So he's in a great spot right now, and it's difficult for Zerg to come back now because you can't really counterattack at this point. Because Terran doesn't really need to leave his base anymore. So you're never going to get that opportunity, right?
Yep, and there are the lurkers. So I was wondering, I was like, you know, we've only seen Lings and Mutas the entire game. We don't even know what this guy's late game comp is going to be. Is it going to be Mutaman, Guardians? But we've finally got our answer. It looks like it's just going to be standard lurker to filer follow-up.
Yeah, so he's getting a little bit of... I mean, he's containing Terran for now. And he's not going for tanks either, so these lurkers are going to be very strong. But, getting a good offense there, killing some Marines. So, can he get like a third gas behind this? Maybe. This is actually a little bit dangerous.
Yeah, Zerg. Yes, the Miedows have +1 so hit really hard, but Terran has 1/1 upgrades. And we've seen consistently pro players, once the +1 armor power spike kicks in, and they see lurkers, they just go for it. That's a lot of Valkyries too. So these Miedows without their armor are going to get absolutely blasted.
So we have a situation now where, okay, he's got to micro those down. He has Scourge, very good job. But like, he went for Valkyries, obviously, right? And they don't shoot down. So Terran is like a little bit contained, not even scared of a frontal assault. You might want to see like a bunker or two from him. But at the same time, the Valkyries can really destroy Overlords. You want to have 4 ideally. He only has 3 right now, but with 4 you can actually micro down Scourge quite consistently. With 3 you may be able to, but it's not as consistent. But we're gonna have a Defiler here, man.
This is dangerous, where you've got nothing to actually kill the Defiler, and he knows that all the Marines moved out of position. This could just be over.
Yeah.
How do you stop this? He has nothing. He doesn't even have fire bats.
Yeah, the Valkyrie is just not paying off right now. Going for those, it just... If you're gonna go like 2 Port Valk like this and Zerg goes Lurkers, you need to get Vultures with Mines. Like you actually need to get that immediately. This is just what happens. You just die to the Lurkers, and especially the Lurkers with the Fighter. So Terran's gonna desperately counterattack here. I wonder if we have a Lurker at the natural. If we do, then it's just a done thing. We do.
Yeah, there's a Lurker and there's a Defiler, so how do you stop this? He's got 2 vessels. I think he'll hold this eventually because, at least with the Marines on the map, Zerg can't reinforce, but this is ridiculous amounts of damage.
But he doesn't even need to reinforce at this point, because he did get the 3rd up and it's got a Nidus on it, so that's a 4th later, right? And this is just costing so much damage right here, like the delayed mining time, everything. Zerg can just kind of take out the Valkyries as well, of course, only 2 of them, not really a threat, you need at least 3, maybe 4. So at this point, I mean, Zerg could just go all in from here, or take a 4th and macro. Looks like he's gonna continue attacking.
I think Zerg should just drone, actually, because watching Barracks actually have a massive engagement, I think Barracks had to make this move, and he is actually going to clean up a lot of the Marines, or a lot of the Lurkers. So well done from him. He actually clears out everything. I can't believe it. That was the first tank. That was the only tank. Defiler's going to try and buy time, but there were 2 dropships built, Voddy, and I don't see really much vision on the top side.
Yeah, so Barracks might be trying to make sick play going here, actually, that's insane. He still has those Mutilates, remember? And they're gonna like one-shot bounce and kill 3 vessels at a time, you know? But yeah, so those dropships you're talking about, he's gonna try to come back with them, and just like he snuck in some Marines, you know, to take out the base. But that was a lot stronger than the dropships are now, because at this point, like, the game is entering a later phase where there are units everywhere, and you can kind of just aim with units to deal with drops. Earlier on, when he stuck some Marines out, it was different because they learned that on units. And huge useless harassment even, because there weren't any turrets, he took those out.
Yeah, hey, he spots the dropship too, man. What are you doing? You're just showing this guy what your move is.
Yeah. So now he knows to look for that.
Well, it was a good irradiate. He ended up killing a Muta, but the Muta ended up taking out a vessel before falling. We've got dropships now going to the bottom side of the map. Saber is up workers, not up supply, but as long as he can hold the frontal attack and the drops, this is pretty much his game to lose. He dealt so much damage to Terran.
He has enough units that all he has to do is like spread units out everywhere and make sure you have swarm where you need it. If he can just do that and hold on, he should be able to win. Because he's ahead in workers, that's insane. Alright, anyway, here comes the dropship. I'm gonna ferry into the main, it looks like.
Wow, there wasn't even Marines on the bottom to help. Okay, actually the drop decided to not go in.
Yeah, so Barracks is trying to maneuver and find a chink in the armor, but like, I don't think there is a chink. Because if you just have units on the base, right, there's nowhere to exploit.
Yeah, and that's okay. I think you can drop here, but there's nothing here. And he ends up losing the dropship.
So gonna delay the 4th, and that's fine, but losing a dropship for it, so that's fine for Zerg too.
One thing I did notice is Zerg still doesn't have +1 armor, so Terran may be at like +2 weapon. I guess that's one way Terran can get back into the game, is simply because their upgrades are so strong. Or
Yeah, so we get 1-1 against 0-0.
Yeah, I haven't seen
no
Zerg
Zerg
upgrades yet.
But yeah, he's even gonna get the 4th up now. The dropship is not doing enough. Ultras even, yeah. That's a good way to capitalize on a lead, right? Just press U and finish the game.
Yeah. Well, Miedo's and clean that up. And the dropship, I think there's only one remaining. I think that's the only one left. Barracks is trying to do something with these vessels. He's got 4 vessels, so that can deal a decent amount of damage, but what I'm mostly worried is just looking at the game time. We're almost at the critical point in the game where bases get mined out for Terran, and I don't think Barracks has built another command center yet.
Yeah, I don't think so. He's been just trying to finish the game with these dropships. It hasn't really worked out. And this is normally, okay, he's gonna go for the frontal attack, and we want to see the fighter come out there. Swarm, produces some units. Okay, yeah, he's ready for it. Just with lurkers. But yeah, normally at this point in the game, if Terran is to win like this, then what happens is that Terran is like massively ahead on supply, you know, taking a forward, taking another main, and maybe going for like a tank transition. But here, we just don't have anything like that. It's just like a desperate 2-base Terran trying to make something happen.
Yeah, maybe if he had fire bats or something and he could D-matrix all of them, maybe he could bust through, but with just Marines, how do you ever get past the Dark Swarm Lurkers? He's gonna continuously just rally here, but not able to get the damage that he's looking for. Finally, maybe he's going to take a 3rd base. I see some movement over there.
Yeah, he put some units there, so I have to assume that that's on the way. He may have a command center in the main ready to float down, possibly, but you know, Zerg's taking a 4th, and when Zerg has 4 gas and makes over this to just 8 moves everywhere, you better be in a great spot. Because the moment you start defending like that, and we actually have some vessels going on. Desperately trying to radiate, getting taxed for it. The moment you're defending and not attacking as Terran, unless you have like a mech punch, you actually can get them, you know.
And I don't think there's a mech transition right now. I don't see any of the factories being put down. You know, I do have to say that Saber has not exploded in Econ as fast as I thought he would. Like, he's still down 25 supply. He still hasn't gotten his... Okay, he does have his 4th base up and running, so I guess there is still some chance Barracks can make it back, but...
Yeah, Barracks has been taxing the gas decently with irradiations, right? But here comes the first counterattack. And when you take your 3rd, and then when eventually you have to take your 4th, it's just so difficult to defend everywhere when Zerg just D-moves, like a few links here, a few links there, like, oh, one the fighter got past, now there's a Dark Swarm in my base, you gotta lift it, it just spirals out of control. If Zerg can get to that point. And as you were saying, he hasn't really exploded yet. But I'm waiting for that to happen, you know. I'm waiting for, like, the big explosion of units, right?
Yeah. Okay, another vessel is taken down, but he does get another radiate off. Okay, Marines are just going to run by. They're going to go for it. There's not that much here. The only lurker dies. He needs to get some stuff through there ASAP. He does.
Okay, he's holding on, but this is... he might lose the Midas, even. Like, wow. He's definitely taking damage here. This is a little bit shaky before.
Yeah, and he actually doesn't have that many lurkers remaining. All of them got irradiated also. This command center is going to be denied, but there's no Dark Defiler here either. So there's going to be no Dark Swarm, and with no Nidus, he has nothing to actually get to this base. So actually, Barracks may bust this finally.
Yeah, but when that Dark Swarm runs out, we need more Zerg units down here. Because he just, dude, imagine 1-5 right there. That would actually change the game right now. But he didn't have it. The Dark Swarm dissipates, and we don't have Zerg units there. Is that Nidus connected? I wonder.
In the Nidus, that's... He built it right there! Dude, why not at least build it in the 4th base or something? So
and 2 more dropships coming in. What an insane comeback from Terran. I don't believe what I'm saying.
Terran, I thought there's no way that we can actually bust these bases, but he's actually going to do it. He's behind the minerals here. Still getting damage done. Oh, he's at the front also.
However, I have to point out, fortunately for Saber, he did take out that 3rd base attack because it wasn't in the main, it was on location. Yeah. And therefore he was able to stop that. So if he can just stabilize here, he's still in the game for sure. Like, losing that hatchery, it's fine. He can still mine from there, it's just off location right now. If Terran had a 3rd base still, we'd be talking about a different story, but this is still playable for Zerg. I still think Zerg might have this.
Zerg is still even in supply. The vessel count is almost nothing now. The Marine count has been whittled down considerably. and we hear a lot of scans go off. Barracks doesn't have the money to build a command center anymore. He needs to float his main command center, and another vessel dies.
Yes, Saber has been consistently ambushing and sniping vessels, and that's really huge. I mean, it's like, honestly, one way to win as Terran, at least on 2-player maps, if you can keep the games small, is to just never lose a vessel and never be floating vessel energy. You know, if you can just do that, easier said than done, you're gonna put yourself in a great position. That has not been the case this game.
Well, this may be the final attempt, because those SCVs are getting ransacked by a lot of Zerglings. We have a counterattack from both sides.
Oh, he stops, because he spots the dropship, see? So he was going to attack the main, but he spots them and turns around, snipes one with Scourge, actually. And at the same time has the Dorks from in the third base. So just dealing with every attack, at the bottom and the top simultaneously.
Yeah, these were really good coordinated attacks from Barracks, but the defense is just a little bit too good, and this third base is going to be denied again. There's no way to answer these ults. There's so many.
Yeah,
we just have that. Nice. So we've got actually Saber moving on into the winners match versus Best. We were both thinking that Barracks was going to be the favorite here, but not the case. Saber really brought his A game.
Yeah, that was really well played by him. Okay, now, he was behind for sure after losing the hatch. He was mega ahead, then he lost the hatchery, then he was behind. But then he was able to use, you know, the Valkyries, the weakness of the Valkyrie when you go for them like that, which is of course the Lurker.
We're going to be going into our winners match now, which is going to be Best versus Saber. And that should be another exciting PvZ. We'll see if actually Saber can make it out in first place. He's already impressed me so far with his one game versus Barracks. Okay, we've got we've got horizontal spawns again. We've got Saber again in the top left, and this time in the top right, we've got Best.
Yeah, so it was very impressive that he was able to defeat Barracks, but I would be insanely impressed if he were to defeat Best right here. I mean, that would just be like killing Goliath or something, you know?
Yeah, now we're into the real in-game boss here. I wonder if Best will do the same thing, which is the pylon on the high ground. If we see it on the high ground again, then we'll know that, hey, he didn't just send his probe out at the wrong time. And there it is.
He's doing it again.
So, just as a non-Protoss player watching this, if you notice, he rallied his probe, and the rallied probe won't make it to the low ground right in time. So maybe that's why, you know, he gets his pylon down 1 second faster than usual.
Yeah, it's more economical, because he doesn't have to spend as much time not mining, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's actually safer against like a 9 pool, because you don't have that exposed pylon, you only have an exposed gateway, so you can block the ramp with 1 unit, and then give yourself more time while you wait for another zealot to come out with the gateway, you know?
Yeah, true, and this time around, okay, will the probe be able to block it? It's going to be another attempted 11 hatch, and again, the answer is going to be no. Hatch will get down in time.
Yeah, and had that been a 12 hatch, maybe not, you know?
Probe coming, or drone coming down. They're going to intercept, and drone got off the first hit. That means actually the probe is going to be the one that needs to run away.
Damn, this is really confident to go for this. As a Zerg. I always get intimidated when a player does that to me, you know?
Yeah. But we do have the drone scout coming out, and well, now that he sees the gateway, he should just turn this around, right? But the drone's still going.
Yeah, the drone is still going. That's interesting. Like, what is he gonna try to do there? Like, steal the gas, or?
It's gonna be body block. So remember in the game versus Hyun kept body blocking the Zealot to buy some time, and that's exactly what the drone's gonna do here. Try and buy as much time as possible. Or maybe not.
Yeah, it's very good if Protoss isn't looking. He might not notice that the Zealot's getting blocked.
Okay.
You know, he is looking though, so not much effect.
You know, I can get behind doing it one time, but every time Zerg does it the second time, I get a bit nervous, because it only takes one shot like that where the drone could get popped real quick. Ends up not going down though. It's not.
Oh,
and there he goes. Well, this is already getting ugly.
Dude, if he gets one more drone here, I don't know.
And the pros with their moving shot zealots are just so quick. You got to be really on top of your game, otherwise you can lose workers in an instant.
Just gotta go for the classic hide behind the mineral here. And that probe is actually positioned exquisitely so that only a few or even one link can attack it at a time, and the probe is still there. And when you have the probe zealot calm, you actually two-shot links. Insane game-defining damage right here.
Yeah, he got what, 6 links there, and there's gonna be 2 more zealots coming across the map. And the zealot is still alive there. Like, he didn't even kill the probe or the zealot, so he is in big time trouble.
Damn, dude, I'm watching this and I'm thinking like, dude, if I were to play Zerg, maybe I just go overkill, man, because I don't know if I want to deal with this. This is scary.
This is really tough. The probe even gets out, so it's not out. It's not dead yet, which means it's going to be a nuisance again in a follow-up attack, which we're seeing right now. Finally, the probe gets taken down. That was a drone cycle, dude, so these zealots are just going to walk into the main.
Yeah, we don't have enough links for this right now. 2 zealots beat 4 links for sure. And they can stand by the minerals again. Oh. So now you're going to have to mineral walk a drone to push them out? While there's a zealot in your third? Actually, he even sends a zealot back. He doesn't go to the third because at this point he sees everything. He doesn't need to scout more. So it's actually better to save more zealots and then go scout again with enough units to actually get past the links, you know? Instead of just send it to an empty third base that doesn't have anything. He's choosing to pool more zealots for the next wave.
Yeah, he even sees that Zerg's not mining gas. Look how he just pokes in there and checks.
Yeah.
And he can just do anything now. He can just go straight speed zealot if he wants. Doesn't need the Sair anymore. But also if he builds Sair, obviously Sair's going to reign supreme in the air. So he has all types of options.
Yeah, now that he sees everything that Zerg is doing, you're right, he does have so many good options. He could go like turbo fast speed shuttle with the Reaver. That's actually good when you're ahead on tech. That's one way to capitalize on it. He could, like you were saying, skip Stargate, which I happen to know best. Is quite fond of doing it. We see him do that now, actually. Skipping Stargate because he knows there are no Mutalisks anyway. There's no spot. So just get more units, you know?
This is what I was thinking. Like, at this point, you're never going to kill the Zealots. You might as well just build a colony. I mean, at least it saves you larvae. You don't have to build as many links, and the Zealot will actually have to come out and fight. So he will take the engagement. He will finally clean up these Zealots, but this is going to be fast Citadel follow-up, and Dark Archon is on the table now too. We know Best likes to open that.
Yeah, if he ever has to deal with Mutalisks, since he has no Stargate, the Dark Archon is a good follow. And this second wave here of 3 Zealots trying to scout the third, looks like it's not going to be able to, because he didn't make enough links there. So.
He ends up holding it. The stutter step micro was really good, I thought. We do have, I'm guessing that's a Hydraton. We've got the 4th patch coming in too, but Zerg's econ is just really not great.
Yeah, so we might have like a 5 hatch before Lair here. Yeah, 5 hatch is about... No, I mean, I have to assume it's about to go down, but he didn't do it there. So, okay, 4 hatch before Lair is what we have. That still gives a lot of time for Best to do something before Mutalisks are out. You know, a lot of the time, Zergs will go like a few Mutalisks to stop the first Zealot move out with +1. Not gonna be an option here, possibly. We might actually have speed and +1 before any Mutalisks could be out, given the late Lair.
We do have 4 Zealots acting like they're going to move out, but of course that's definitely not enough to make a full committal. But with 4 gates, that 4 Zealot is going to turn into 8 really quickly, and that is going to be a big threat because we're approaching 7 minutes, 7:30. That's when a lot of Zealot move outs occur. Also, we'll line up with +1 pretty soon. So here we go.
Yeah, and he needs Sunkens for this, and that's so expensive right now, because every Sunken is a drone, you know? You lose. And then it's not even bad for Protoss. Then Protoss just like backs off, gets more units, goes in again. Completely dominating right now by Best, complete control of this game. So we have Hydras actually, with no Sunkens. And I'm a little bit worried about that, because if he goes for the 3rd here, see all the Hydras are in the natural, right?
Well, he does have a good SimCity, and 1 Sunken with the SimCity does push these Zealots back. He's going to head on over to the natural. Again, great SimCity here, and really no angle of attack. So far, Saber has done a good job to defend his bases. His worker count is
minimal defenses.
Yeah. Okay, well, maybe he didn't have enough because there's 3 openings here, actually. There's one on the eggs, too. He's gonna focus down the hatch. No, look at this. Actually, the AI of the Zealot's kind of bugged out a little bit. The drone control is great. Best is gonna try and salvage. Yeah, he tries to salvage this attack by focusing down some drones, but actually, this was a good hold.
Yeah, he only lost like 3 drones, 3 or 4 drones, and considering, you know, he didn't even have a sunken right there, that's pretty good for Zerg, all things considered.
It was not. Best is floating a lot of money, though. Imagine that money is going to be going into like 4 more gateways. There's the DT. We do have
yeah, so Zerg, of course, droning even more now.
Yeah, I think he's got to at least get up to 40, 45 drones so he can try and come back economically. And he's already pretty close there. He also eliminated a lot of Zealots now. Like, there's really not much standing army for Protoss, so he can afford to drone up.
Yeah, that was such a waste, honestly. I mean, I think he could have gone in, sniped a few drones, and left. Because imagine if he had still kept all of those units. Then the next attack with Storm, and you can't do that against. Because if you try to hide behind the SimCity when there's Storm, he'll just storm all your drones, you know, or even on the Hydras.
Well, I'm actually starting to like Zerg's position a little bit. Pecan is amazing. I am a little bit worried that supplies are still kind of low, and the Templars, they're going to have so much Storm available to him, but at least he's not going to get overrun, which I thought he might get overrun based on the beginning of the game.
Yeah, at this point, if he can just, like, survive right now, he's in a great position, because his economy is way better than Protoss' economy. It's actually insane how much better it is, even though he's behind by 5. So, I mean, is he gonna stop the attack with Mutalisks to snipe the Templar and maybe counterattack? Because remember, there is no Stargate. Or is he gonna have, like, you know, Lurkers before Observers, and then maybe snipe the first Observer? Those are, like, his main 2 options I think to consider. Is he gonna spend his gas on Mutas or Lurkers?
Yeah, if he goes Mutas, I think he can snipe all these Templars easily. By the time Protoss wants to move out, we should have at least 8 or 9 Mutalisks, assuming he makes those, but he could be building some Lurkers, but I haven't seen Lurkers morph anywhere, so I think we're going to actually have some Mutas pop out in just a second.
I always say that, you know, when you defend with the minimum defense, you need perfect execution, and he damn near had perfect execution right there. Playing on the edge like that, and you're so rewarded for doing that in StarCraft, especially as Zerg, the ability to defend with the minimum stuff.
Indeed you are. Supplies have started to close. We've got 95 supply for Zerg, about 110 for Protoss. That is a lot of Dragoons, but Dragoons not the greatest versus Mutalisks, and I think the Mutalisks are pooling at 3rd base actually, the top left base, and here they come, along with the Hydralisk. Oh, something spotted him.
So Saber didn't start a 4th. That means Best taking this 3rd base actually is triggering Saber to be aggressive. He wants to snipe the Templar and deny his 3rd, because he cannot play 3 bases, and he doesn't have a 4th of his own.
Well, the Mutalisks are out, and it is a decent amount of do, but I guess Saber does not think that the 3rd base can be busted. You can see Best is scrambling to get up some cannons to defend versus the Mutalisks. This is so much stuff.
Yeah, leaving a lot of Dragoons in the main.
Well, the problem, I guess, now is, yes, you have Mutas and Hydras, but a lot of the firepower in the Zerg army are the Lurkers, and we don't see any Lurkers just yet at all. Dragoons are very tanky, comboed with good Storm. It's going to be really tough to get any damage done. Actually, it seems like Saber is contemplating expanding the bottom left, maybe?
Yeah, I think, okay, so in the main base, the Dragoons over there, they're fending off the Mutalisks. Yeah, it looks like he might be trying to expand. I wish he would have done that before, earlier. He waited for a little bit too long. Okay, he's taking a 4th now, so if he can just get that up, I guess maybe he can play a macro game from there, but he's gonna need a lot of Lurkers to do so. And these Mutalisks have not paid off at all. So imagine if he had like 12 Lurkers instead of these Mutalisks, right? Like, with the 4th already on the way. Maybe that would have been a better play. Given that, you know, there was a late observer, now there's an observer, but he would have had a long time of safety being able to drone, I think, 4th. But as it is now, he just, like, spent 1,000 gas on essentially useless units that haven't paid off yet.
Yeah, he's gonna have to wait for his window of opportunity whenever he sees a straggler Templar like that. And just snipe them as they come out. This is kind of greedy, actually, but I think he got that goon without being punished.
We have a probe on a 4th base also, trying to take that for Protoss, and that's going to be an issue if Protoss gets to 4 bases. Like, if Protoss is even on bases with Zerg, that's terrible for Zerg. You want to be ahead of base, right? And he has not been able to be ahead of base for very long. He was in the beginning with his 3 against 2, but he never went for 4 against 3. And he's not about to go to 5 against 4 now.
He's getting his 5 tech. He is up in supply right now. So Saber really crushing it in terms of the macro, but still not able to find any angle of attack. But Zerg has a huge power spike, of course, once Hive kicks in, so maybe that's what he's waiting for. Once Hive and Crackling and Swarm comes in, all these Dragoons are going to be kind of dead weight for Protoss.
Yeah, just getting Adrenal Gland is just huge for Zerg. But he hasn't been able to really deny this 4th. Like, I was hoping maybe he could swoop in with the Mutalisks when the units weren't there, or maybe some Lings, but hasn't been able to do so. So he's just gonna be going for Hive, I guess.
This army of Protoss is like 80% goons. Look at it. You can count on one hand how many Zealots there are. There's 3. How does this actually win? Well, he's gonna try and make it work. Zerg is out of position. All their units are bottom right.
Yeah, and he doesn't have Swarm yet, so this is probably the optimal timing here before Swarm can do all of these insanely masked Dragoons right here. Hydras coming in, getting stormed. Insane storms right there, actually cutting everything off.
Wow, he didn't lose much supply, but neither did Zerg. And Zerg is just going to hold with some lurkers, and Zerg has 5th, or actually 4th base up and running at bottom left now. We finally see some Lings popping out, so Adrenal should be coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, and that has to be a Defiler mount, I imagine. So Swarm is a long way away. We're gonna have Adrenal Gland before then, but these Dragoons are not useless yet.
You need to go in right now. We've only got about a minute and a half before Dark Force and it will nullify all these Dragoons. Big Storm right there limits a lot of the lanes. There's multiple observers this time, so not going to be denied. Damn, it's literally pure goon. There are no Zealots in that army.
Yeah, it's just Dragoon Tempo. That's crazy, dude.
Okay, he snipes an observer. He's looking for the other one. He snipes the other one.
And yeah, that's it. You can't see the lurkers.
Protoss is going to be denied, and he's going to have to rely on Storm if he wants to really get through this lurker field.
So he's doing very well here, stalling like this. The only scary part is that it's 4 base versus 4 base. You know, if we had a 5th on the way, I'd be feeling great for Saber's sake here. But as it is, you know, even with Hive, and even without Reavers, I still favor Protoss on even bases.
Yeah, so do I. We'll see if that's going to actually happen this game, though, because the Protoss army is still massive. It's 180 now, and actually, Saber is going for a counterattack, and I don't know if this is the correct move, because that means obviously that army is not going to help him defend at top left, and with a 50 supply lead, he should be able to push through before Darkstorm comes in.
Yeah, he may just steamroll the front right here. Everything is dying for Zerg. The counterattack, even though I have to assume the Lings have Adrenal at this point, they weren't able to take it down because the probes actually blocked very well, like especially the active in time. So the fighters are out now. Do we have consumed them?
There's still no Darkstorm. He's going to kill through this army right before the Defilers get consumed. Okay, finally he gets consumed. He ends up laying down one Darkstorm, but there's a Storm that clears through basically everything. That Lurker isn't under the Darkstorm.
We've got some tricking cracklings here coming in, but Zealot Reinforcement just shut that down.
Wow, lose supply. It was even a minute ago, now it's 150 to 80. So best, he's done it. He broke through the defense at the very last second.
Yeah, welcome to macro, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to having the same amount of bases as Zerg.
Man, that was so close for Zerg to actually be able to hold, but best he struck right when he needed to, and that means he is going to go up 1-0 in the series. I was really worried about that comp. I'm like looking at him like, dude, if this guy has Rush Defiler, which you don't know, by the way, because remember, he doesn't have a Sair, I'm like, you're just dead. Like, you're just going to be stuck with 85 supply of just goons, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, that he hit at the perfect time where it was like a really good balance between having enough Dragoons, but they're not being Swarm yet. But yeah, you're right. I mean, how do you know that Zerg isn't rushing Swarm? I guess people don't like to do that. I mean, if you rush it too fast, if you don't have any money behind it, I guess it doesn't matter. you know, even though Protoss only has goons, because it's like you just don't have anything. So then Protoss is just like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna like double or triple expand myself then, because you don't have anything except for defilers, right? So even though you can't kill the Zerg, that's probably the response you would have gone for in that case. Like, say he would have rushed like Hive on 3 bases or something, like Savior did way back in the day, right? Against Protoss. You give up a lot of map control because you can hold existing terrain you already have with Swarm, but it's difficult to take new terrain. Protoss will be there and fighting you every step of the way, so I don't know.
That was definitely a tough situation. I'm reminded of a game that I saw of Mini versus Queen, and it was the same scenario actually. It was very weird. I was watching the game and Mini was maxed out on Dragoons, and I'm like, dude, if this guy...
Yeah, I've seen that happen, and I've seen Protoss attack too late with Dragoons and just run into Swarm, and it's just like, oh, rip. I've seen that happen too.
Yeah, and that's what happened, is he didn't have the timing that Best had, and then it was literally just pure Goon versus Dark Swarm Ling, and well, let's just say the game ended very quickly after that, because how does Protoss replenish their army in time? Like, they're not trading well at all. So cute timing from Best, and we do have Retro this time around this game too. We've got Best in bottom left and Saber at bottom right.
Yeah, now this is a map with very few bases. It only has, what, 12 bases, right? You got your main, your natural, your third, and you got that times 3, so not a lot of bases, and that actually lends itself to split map scenarios a lot. And of course, if Protoss can take half of the bases on the map, they will eventually win against Zerg. But Zerg can also play a take and hold style by taking more than 50%. So if you take the contested bases, you know, on the ramps, and you get like Sunken Spore Lurker there, Protoss is never taking that base. Once you get it as Zerg, it's yours forever.
Yeah, so it could come down to who can get top middle or bottom middle. A lot of games can be dictated like that. I remember when Circuit Breakers was in the ladder map pool, a lot of epic games really coming down to those mid-right, mid-left bases. Hopefully we get to see it, because actually split map PvZ is probably my favorite style to watch. And look at this, we got a mix-up here. We've got pool first versus maybe Forge first.
Yeah, he doesn't want to deal with that already set up offense when you get... Oh, 9 pool speed, actually. Okay, so this is like a little bit risky, but he's probably targeting 1-gate expansion, right? Because 9 pool speed can punish a 1-gate expansion. It's a little bit tricky, especially if you don't scout it on time as Protoss, to defend a 9 pool speed when you just have like 1 gateway, you know? No cannons.
Well...
But it's looking like a Forge right now, isn't it?
It is a Forge, and that means that Saber's in big time trouble, because not only is this great versus pool first with speed, but also Protoss is going to scout it really quickly.
Yeah.
So Protoss is going to know that, hey, I just SimCity my wall or my entrance, put down 2 cannons instead of 1, and I'm golden.
Yeah. Damn, you know, he was behind in the previous game from the opening. Then he kind of came back, but not really. But like, I think he's strong enough to just play straight up, so I believe in him. I think he could just go like overpool or like 9 pool no speed and just play a safe macro game, and I think he could win that way. But instead he's taking this huge risk, and it's just not going to pay off right now.
Yeah, Probe is hanging around to make sure that, hey, make sure that this Zerg didn't fake speed and then goes for like a Hydra Bust or something. So I think that's a smart move from Best.
Yeah, very good to hide there. And then send it back in later. He made even more links. He made 8 links, dude. So he wants to go for a run by. But as you were saying, Protoss scouted this, and okay, delaying it first of all with the threatened skip.
Oh my! How does he get it?
The juke.
There are 7 lings there, and the ling ends up dying at the natural. Yeah, and now he confirms that, hey, you didn't transition. Okay, he sees the lair.
Scouts the lair.
This is weird.
I don't know what. I mean, we've seen Soma do like 2-edge Muta CVP as if it's against Terran and then transition to a macro game. But that was not off of 9 pool speed with 8 links. Or maybe he didn't even get speed. Maybe he's just getting the lair. I don't know.
Well, this could be a Ling Lurker bust. It's surprisingly good versus cannons. You have the Lings tank, and then the Lurkers just blow everything up. The Lings have done a good job to actually keep the probe back, and by now, Best should know that I think speed was canceled, because speed should have kicked in by now.
Right. Yeah, so it's just like a fast lair, apparently.
That's going to be
You know,
hydrogen, maybe?
one thing you can do actually, I don't think Best is going to do it because it's not his style, but if you are a Protoss user and you know Zerg doesn't have a third, you know he's going to attack you with something, but you don't know if it's like Hydra Bust, Lurker Drop, you know, Muta All-In, you can actually go Corsair Reaver to stop all of that stuff. It like stops every 2-base cheese, right? If it's a Hydra Bust, you spam cannons, you get Reavers. If it's Mutalisks, well, you went double Stargate, right? So you also have the Robo for Observer if it's Lurker.
Well, I'll tell you this, Voddy. If this probe gets in, this game's over. You can't let it in, man! Oh my gosh. He gets in, and he's going to see the Hydrogen, and he's going to see the lair, and it can only be one thing.
Yeah, it's like Lurker Drop or something, probably, is what you're thinking,
It's,
you know?
it's a Lurker bust at the front. He doesn't have enough gas to...
Yeah, that too, actually. So those are like the two things, I guess. Like, the front, that's the only mix-up he has. Bust the front or drop the back, right? But you can kind of just spam cannons everywhere and be safe against both.
Exactly. Also, building Corsairs is going to be annoying because that means you're going to have to keep Hydras not morph into Lurkers to actually deal with them.
Yeah, right.
Zerg also... Zerg has like almost no larva available to him, so it's not even going to be very much support at the front with the wings. If he builds 4 cannons, I think the game's just done. I don't see how anything gets through 4 cannons.
It might be like a slow drop attempt, you know, when you drop everything into the main. That gives you a chance, because what that does is like, you try to snipe the cannons, and then you win if you do that, you know? That might be what he's going for.
Positioning his Overlord like he may be going for the drop, but the Corsair is about to be out in a second.
Yeah.
And the Lurkers are still not done yet.
Yeah, that's really an issue when you're slow dropping the Corsair being there and then harassing you all the way. I don't know, man, it's kind of looking like a frontal assault, and that's just not going to work. There are too many cannons. And look at how he built the wall. I mean, we might get a shot of that later, but we were seeing earlier that he had the cannons very far behind the wall, so you actually have to take out the wall first to give the product even more time.
Here come those Lurkers. Well, 3 is not enough, and 16 lings not enough. We'll see if it actually works, though. There are no drones for Saber. This is his only shot. Lurkers burrow. I don't even think they're in range of the cannon. They're not. Those were great cannon placements, like you just said. There's broken off the line. He's not even getting a cannon.
One cannon, that's what he got. Yeah.
Well, that's going to be all she wrote, because now 3 more cannons are coming up. I guess there are no Zealots anymore, so at least they can't body block, but 2 Lurkers.
I really think Saber was hoping for a 1-gate expansion. The mindful speed is strong enough, like it's not like a free win, but you have the possibility of ending the game, and even if you don't, you can delay the expansion for so long. It's actually a good opening. But when he saw the Forge, I think he was just kind of tilted and decided that all-in was his best shot.
Yep, just how it goes sometimes. You go for a mega counter, and then you end up getting countered, and that means at best he will move on in first place, so well done from him. But Saber not out of it just yet. He'll be waiting in the Deciders match. But we are going to be going into the losers bracket now, which is going to be Hyun versus Barracks.
Yeah.
So this is going to be an exciting Terran versus Zerg, and we're just straight into it, man. Right, in the top left, Round Zerg, Hyun. In the bottom right, we've got our red Terran again, Erik.
Alright. Now, last game that we saw Barracks in, he went, of course, for like a +1 4-axe into 2 Portavat, into Vessels. And if you're gonna go like Valks into Vessels, then you're really targeting like a pre-lurker timing. And so you need like a lot of game sense to know when to make Valks and how many to make. Because if you over-make Valks, and you're just gonna go SK Terran after, you kinda just die to Lurkers, which is what we saw. You can still go for 2 Port Valk against Lurker, but if you do that, you gotta get like bunkers and like Vulture spider mines, and then just use the Valkyries to counterattack and kill Overlords, actually. That's how you get value out of them. You're basically circumventing the Lurkers by killing Overlords.
Yeah, that's tough to do though, because the Scourge are so effective, and also,
oh yeah, you got a micro or die.
Yeah, the deceleration of the Valkyries where they just stop. There are so many times where they accidentally fire, and I'm like, oh my god, I just lost all my Valkyries because they're not gonna move now.
Yeah, if you look away for a split second, you can lose the game that way. So actually, if you're playing with Valks and you're using them like Corsairs, you actually never want them on attack move, ever, no matter what. And you never want them standing still, because it's better if Scourge come and they just keep flying away from the Scourge until you're there and you notice you can patrol micro them. That's better than them actually shooting on their own. Because you never want them to shoot while standing still. They just die to Scourge.
Yeah, that is so true. So we do have Barracks in the main, no 8 racks this time. Meanwhile, we've got 12 hatch coming down from Hyun. And we do see both players coming.
That's an early scout. Actually, it's a standard scout, never mind. It's pretty standard. So now we're gonna have to see, will he scout with his Barracks SCV also, or will he take the risk and only scout with 1? Because if you only scout with 1, and there's a pool first, like a 4 pool or something, you're in trouble.
Yeah, we do see the standard 2 hatch opener these days. We got the 2-minute gas, so not going to be the 2.5 hatch. I mean, we still may have a hatchery in the main, but it is going to be the normal muted timing. We're seeing a second SCV move out, just to make sure that there is no lings coming at him.
Yeah, so it's going to see the hatch first. And yeah, as you were saying, this was not like a 12, 12, 12. This was like, you know, an 11, 11, 10, or 12, 11, 10. So not very greedy, very standard, very middle of the road actually. If you want faster Mutalisks, you go 12 pool. If you want more money, you squeeze in more drones. But he's doing like a middle of the road standard build order right now.
If SCV confirms the lair timing, he knows exactly what he's up against. And we saw Barracks go eBay last game, but he is mixing it up because that is a second Rax. And this is cross spawn, and he's still willing to go for a second Rax. And now this is a bit of a mind game, because look at this. He's floating a Rax down to the low ground, make it look like he's walling off and powering, but we know that actually a timing is going to hit.
Yeah, so that's apparently, you know, how he chooses to SimCity on this map. Because, I mean, if you don't SimCity, you kind of just die to speed and all that, so you need some sort of SimCity. And getting forced out already with this SCV. But that's not that bad for him, considering he's rushing Academy, right? So he's gonna have that scan if he needs it.
Yep. SCV does not get in. Wasn't missing anything, though, because Hydrogen did not go down sneakily. Now, this type of wall, I think it is a full wall, but Lings can still run through the mineral line really quickly. It's not like, oh, I got a wall between my command center and the ramp, I'm good. Like, there are Zerg players that will still just try and pick you apart. So hopefully Barracks doesn't get punished.
Yeah, you could do like a hit and run to snipe some SCVs. That's still a play for sure. But at least he's not gonna die to speedlings this way, right? Unless he messes up. So we actually are seeing it already. He's gonna go for it right now.
He just kicked in. Actually, that was a good drill from Barracks right there.
Yeah, very clutch.
You can see why you don't make that move, because he ends up losing 8 lings for 2 Marines. But he did at least force SCVs off the mineral line, so it wasn't like he didn't get any value.
Yeah, but I have to say that's very good for Barracks, because remember, he went fast stim. So this is really gonna hurt Zerg now, where at this point, like, if you go across the map with stim pack, well, I mean, is he gonna make it? Does he have enough time, I wonder? Since the map is so big.
I think he will have enough time. I think what really hurt Zerg there is he didn't save a single ling, so now when Barracks moved out, he has no vision at all. I don't even think Barracks needs to move out with that many Marines. Just force a move out to force Sunkens would be good. And we may see him go right now. It's 1 medic, 1 firebat, and 5 Marines.
And he's not afraid of a counterattack because he killed so many lings right now. So is he gonna force Sunkens now? I mean, Mutalisks are on the way. I'm not sure if he actually scans them. He knows how much time he has. And he's not choosing to go for it.
Yeah, he's not gonna move out, actually. I think he waited too long if he go, but that means that this third base of Hyun is going to get up and running, and I like how both Zerg players that we've seen have mixed up the position of the third base.
Yeah.
There's another 4 racks opener from Barracks. No, it's not. That's an eBay, so it's going to be 3 racks. Probably fast tech in just a moment.
Okay, so I have to manage on Mutalisks are about to pop out, and yeah, third base going up completely unmolested. Very nice for Zerg. Of course, with this third, which is the most common one that most Zerg users like to take, you can just make Sunkens on location and have them cover the choke, you know? Oh, see how we only have like a few mutas? We don't have like the 6 immediate mutas. He actually didn't save Larva for Mutalisk. He actually made more drones and got a third instead. Because he knows like it's cross map, you know? And Terran doesn't know that I'm not making 6 Mutalisks, right? So, I don't actually need to make many. Look at all these turrets, right? They're not actually useful.
It's one of the hard parts about playing versus Zerg is judging exactly what they're doing. Like, they show a Spire, they build drones. They show a Hydrogen, but they also have a hidden Spire. It's like, oh, well,
right.
What do I do?
Now he's got the Mutalisks. And that's quite late. And you know, he actually made it look like he had stacked up Larva to make 6 mutas all at once, because when the Spire was done, he had 6 eggs, but not all of those eggs were Mutalisks. It's been very tricky this game.
A smart move, and now it is just one group of bio moving out versus about 7 mutas or so. What is that? No, I thought that drone was going to build a Hydrogen or a Queen's Nest or something, but nothing just yet. Mutas? Well, this is the awkward part for Zerg now, is because he delayed the mutas, he's not doing damage to the mineral line, he's not damaging the Marines because he doesn't have enough mutas. So what has he really accomplished with these mutas right now?
Yeah, so far nothing. He basically accomplished getting a third base by not making Mutalisks, but now of course he's making Mutalisks and he hasn't got a value yet. Very fast time, so we might be seeing crazy Zerg here actually going straight to Ultras.
It could be Ultras, but if he's going to go into Ultras, he really needs to start getting those armor upgrades, which he does not have. So this could be what I was talking about earlier, actually. It could be Hydra Guardian, because the Hive is coming, but there's no lurkers anywhere.
Yeah, you're right. Could be Guardians for sure. We saw a scan from the Terran here, so he actually knows that Hive's on the way this early. So he knows, like, okay, I'm not going to be facing lurkers this game. This is definitely some form of fast Hive, either Guardians or Wolves.
They get a little bit of damage, but not much. Multiple scans went off right now, and he spots the third base. Doesn't see anything up there, but he at least knows where it is. So now
he knows there are no Sunkens either.
Yeah. So he could make a move like he did last game where he just pulls off like 8 Marines to the side and then just stems for it and tries to kill that base.
Yeah, he could go for that, but looks like he's not willing to take that risk at the moment. He just kind of wants to make it there with the to at least force some Sunken colonies, but pretty good meter might go.
Yeah, really
killing a lot of Marines right there. That was sick.
He killed like 6 Marines there. I think lost only 1 muta. That mega worth. Back in the main of Hyun, he's got Hive done, but I don't see any follow-up. Like, there's no Greater Spire. There's still no Hydrogen. Okay, there we go. There's the Greater Spire, but where's the Hydrogen? Where's the supporting cast? There it is.
There it is. Okay, it is Hydra Guardian. Very interesting. So, he may actually have to make defensive Guardians, though, the way this game's going. You never want that. You know, you want the Guardians, like, over the natural of the Terran, ideally, right? But he has no Sunken, so he may actually have to defend with them. For his sake, I hope he doesn't have to, though.
That's a lot of Mutalisks, but that is still a lot of bio, even though it's only 3 racks in production. I have to say, Barracks did rush his starports pretty quickly, so he's going to have a lot of irradiates available by the time Guardians actually get on the map.
Yeah, he's not going Valkyrie, he's going Vessels, and that creates a timing for Zerg. But it also means that if Terran survives, he just scales to oblivion, you know, he totally outscales you.
Oh my gosh, did Zerg misread the army movement again? And he's gonna go kill the third base. There's not enough mutas here anymore. The Lings are out of position. He's stemming for it.
He did it again, dude. He snuck past everything. He just came out of the fog of war and ravaged the base. Will he get the hatchery though? Because in this game, unlike the last one, Zerg is a lot closer to the base, so he can actually respawn in time. So he's gonna lose only some drones, not that much. I think he could have got a match though if he had focused it more.
Yeah, 170 health, so that does survive. But Terran did loot a huge amount of their army, and now all of a sudden, just non-stop units from Zerg could be quite strong. There's only 1 vessel, did I see that correctly?
Yeah. This timing I talked about, where there isn't a lot of radiate yet, just got way stronger than it already would have been. And he didn't even get the base for it, he just got some drones. Now, it was a considerable amount of drones, to be fair. Now wait, are we not going to see any drones?
Well,
There we go.
the thing is the reason you see Barracks scanning is because he knows that Guardians are going to be morphing, so he wanted to know where they're being morphed. And look, he barely missed. That's crazy.
Yeah, he may not have seen. I mean, I don't know if he saw that or not, because they were like hidden under Mutalisks, so we're not sure about that. But at least at this point, he's not going to be caught off guard by these sneaky Marine units.
Well, because the Marines are all the way out on the map, that means that Hyun has to play defensively with these Guardians. Like, he can't attack with them anymore. So he's going to just try and engage the Marines. But remember, there's no Sunkens at the natural. And Guardians, I think, are the slowest units in the game. So he's going to kill this base.
Dude, he's just outmaneuvering the Zerg so hard, and it's like it's one thing to do it now to the Guardians, right? Because they're slow, but he was doing it to Mutaling before. Mutaling is actually faster than Marine Medic. So again, sacrificing units, but I mean the economic damage is probably worth it. Look at this, look at how many drones.
Yeah, and he pulled the Guardians all the way across the map. So even though he only has one vessel right now, by the time Zerg gets across the map, Terran could have like 5 or 6 cloaked Wraiths maybe. You could have like 3 or 4 more vessels.
Yeah, he has so much time. Look, this is just like an A move from my base to yours with Guardians, dude. Terran is gonna be ready for this by the time they reach him.
And look at that drone count, Body. 10.
10. Oh, yeah. Damn, what a fascinating way to counter Guardians, honestly.
Yeah,
and
I don't
just
think,
to play in general.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that, where you just...
I've seen one guy. Literally one guy, you know who it is? Slayer's Boxer, that's who it is. That's the one guy I've seen do this.
Okay. I've never seen it. But this was an interesting move. Definitely next time I face this particular style, I will consider this. Because he's just running circles on Zerg. Like, Zerg has no idea what to do. They're going to try and engage with the Marines, but these Marines they're 1-1. They may even actually win this fight with the irradiates.
Yeah, huge radiation, and this is just going to continue and get worse and worse and worse. And again, Zerg has 13 drones, so Terran just needs to survive at this point, and he bought enough time for great, like you were saying.
There are the Wraiths, and this is going to be all she wrote. Wow, he's morphing all the remaining Mutalisks into Guardians, so there aren't even Devourers or anything for her to actually just taps out instantly. Wow. Really well done from Barracks. I thought that Hyun was doing a good job, but losing the third base just kind of crippled everything.
Yeah, Barracks again with the sneaky Marines getting back in the game. I mean, that was huge. That was actually exactly what Boxer was doing. Like, when he was in Air Force Ace in like 2008-9, that's what he was doing in Pro League and killing people with. just sneaky Marine squads, you know?
You know, actually, I thought that building the Guardians in the center of the map and avoiding the scans was quite smart, but the more I thought about it, like, when he saw that there was only one vessel, why didn't he just morph the Guardians over the natural, right? Like,
yeah,
the Marines
I know,
can't hit them. Why, like, then, yes, the Marines can still move out, but at least you can just build mass Sunkens and defend. Like, you can sack your third, still save your natural.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you either have to defend with them, or you have to attack with them. Not that middle of the road, it doesn't either, you know?
See if we get a repeat of Game 1, and maybe Hydra Guardian, or the Guardians will have a...
Yeah, Hyun versus Barracks now on Retro. So we're gonna see, this is of course a map that you can wall off on as Terran. So we'll see if he goes for that.
Yep, top left I think is the worst position for walling, but I'm getting more and more surprised these days with the depot racks positioning. Like, I've seen a few games on Apocalypse where the racks is to the right of the depot, but then there's also a depot on top of the barracks, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, this is very weird. So we'll see if Barracks will do something like that here. There goes the SCV down to the low ground.
It's looking like an 8 racks actually right now.
Yep, got more money than 100 for the depot, and that is going to be a very, I guess, as maximum far forward as you can get while still being close to the natural.
Yeah, so he'll be able to lift that off and make it part of his wall later. Now, fortunately for Hyun, he's sending his Overlord. Well, he spawned in the place where you would send your Overlord to one of the Terran, basically. So he's going to be able to see if there's an expansion follow-up after this, because sometimes people actually go gas off the raid racks, and sometimes they expand. And as a Zerg, it's very nice to just get to see that for free, you know?
You gotta know what it is, because if a Vulture just runs in and you have no Sunken, well, if it's not a controlling the Vulture, the game might just be over. So, imperative that he gets a good look here and reads it correctly. We've got a 12 hatch from Hyun again, and we've got a fast drone scout.
Yeah, and this was an actual 12 hatch, wasn't it? Not an 11 hatch?
Yeah, this was actually a 12 hatch.
Yeah,
SCV
seeing that
gets
SCV now.
spotted. Yep, so he knows that this guy is top left. Now, seeing the depot and seeing the timing of the SCV and the way it looked like how an SCV would come
seeing
off
a
the
depot
loading
there? Yeah, with no barracks, he has to expect it. I completely agree.
Yep. And I think this was a 12 pool from Hyun also. So normal opener from him.
So he actually squeezed in extra drones in between the buildings. That's gonna make this tougher to deal with.
If he can hold it. SCV gets into the main. Denied by the drone right now. The drone does now confirm the Marine moving out. And he is going to pull a decent amount of drones here. What's this, 8 in total?
Yeah, he's gonna have to pull so many because he, of course, did squeeze in extra drones, so that's all he has to work with, right? He doesn't have a fast pool. Bunker going up, this is dangerous for him for sure. It's gonna come down to the micro now.
This is actually pretty decent for him, because you also got to consider he's got the vision at top left, so he can use that to drone drill through the Marines. So far he hasn't done it. Okay, now he is, but bunker's done.
Yeah, he lets the bunker finish, which is actually not a bad choice. Okay, only loses 1 drone so far. But this second bunker, that's a problem if that finishes.
Yeah, he's going to force out a sunken colony. And remember, if you can just knock down the colony down to 100 health, you can one-shot it as it completes into a sunken. That bunker, I don't think is going to complete. It does complete, actually. But there's enough lings to push back the Marines, and I don't think that this sunken's actually going to get taken down. Maybe it will, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, it's probably gonna get up. He's only, like, okay, Terran is taxing Lings here to get this done, but Zerg can just sacrifice Lings to get it finished, and he finished it, so now he's okay. He's totally safe now.
Oh, this is still gonna be very annoying, because that backup bunker, and with rally Marine production, this is 7 Marines just sitting outside of your base. How do you get past this? Unless he goes to the bottom. But even if he goes to the bottom, he's still gonna take a decent amount of damage. However, I gotta point this out, Voddy, that Rax is still not floated back into position.
Yeah, he has no wall. So he's actually just gonna turn. He made so many Marines. He's just gonna walk back, actually, which I agree with, because you're never reaching that sunken. It's too cost effective.
I like this move from Hyun. He's acting like he was going for a counterattack, and that makes Terran send all of their Marines back. And now he can go kill that bunker if he wants to.
Yeah, you're right. That's pretty smart, actually. So just get rid of that pesky. Only 1 Marine in there now. He left 1 behind.
Well, if he's gonna attack the bunker, I thought he was gonna micro his Lings and save a few of them, but he doesn't. And now Barracks did he killed like 1 drone maybe, and escaped with all of his Marines. This is not a bad position for him.
Yeah, even though he didn't really kill many drones. Well, he killed 2 because he forced a sunken, right? So he basically killed 2, right? And then that cost a bunch of minerals. So yeah, I guess it is pretty good for Terran.
We do have Lair coming in for Hyun. Everything normal. We've got 2 Rax Academy on the menu for Barracks again. Is that going to be a 3rd Rax? It can't be a 3rd.
It's looking like it. Yeah, he could. He could definitely do that. Actually.
Well, he could. It definitely could be a 3rd Barracks. We'll see if once we get a look at the main if it actually is, or if it's a eBay. Speedlings waiting in the shadows, waiting for this man to make a move, and Hyun is building a lot of Lings, actually. He really wants to shut this down as soon as it moves out, and a lot of times when Terran moves out, they move out before Stim, so this could really catch Barracks off guard.
Yeah, if he walks out with like the Stim 2 medic timing here, even if he has Stim, I mean, look at some other Lings, this is insane. It's a big risk actually for Zerg, because if Terran doesn't walk out, I mean, maybe he's hoping Terran's gonna scan him, see like, oh, you never made another sunken, I'm gonna go out, bam, you're dead. Like, we've actually seen Flash lose this way to effort, so it is a real thing you can go for.
Yeah. Oh man, a Marine just medic poked out and saw some Lings. They missed the Lings on the right side. He scans, but what did he scan? Did he scan the main or the natural? He scanned the main.
Oh.
I think you always got to scan the natural first. And the reason I say that is if he scans the natural and sees 4 drones, he's never moving out, right? You're just never
exactly. Yeah, because the natural, okay, you know that the main always has a gas. But if the natural doesn't have a gas, which it actually didn't have when he scanned, like he's only recently started this gas, that's very telling, right? But he's gonna move up. He's gonna have to be
he actually
very
has
careful right now.
He actually had. That is so many lings though. But is he able to get into a good spot with the wall? The lings have obviously. Oh, there's a gap.
Nice! There was a hole.
There's a hole and there's no DPS. There's medics here, but there's no DPS, and that means that the lings are going to kill everything. But with SCVs on the ramp and medics maybe to heal, and by the way, that was an eBay, so nothing really to help. Oh, actually, he's got 3 racks in his bank, so maybe he can hold.
Okay, well, we're gonna have a fire bath here, but oh man, GG. Oh, dude, he sat there for so long and just fished. He was just fishing for that walkout.
Yeah, he was definitely fishing, and oh man, he caught a huge fish with that move. I think Barracks' play right there was okay. Like, he waited for stim. I guess he suspected something was up, but who can really guess that there's gonna be like, what, 45 lings just waiting for you?
I've never seen that many before for that maneuver.
Yeah. So, well, we've got a series on our hands. We've got 1-1. Hyun really pulling out all the stops in game 2, but can he close it out on Polypoid is the question.
Alright, that's gonna be close bottom positions. Which is, of course, in some ways the worst close position for Zerg, in that you send your Overlord in the wrong direction. And that really helped him last game, actually, seeing that it wasn't a one base plane follow-up. That was very good. He's not gonna have that luxury this game. I'm not saying we'll see an 8 racks again, we might not.
Yeah, that was definitely a big benefit to him. I wonder if Barracks will 8 racks again. He does mix it up quite often. I don't think he goes 8 racks as much as Rush, for example. Like, if it was Rush, I would actually say it's a pretty high chance that we're going to have back-to-back 8 racks. But we do have another base that can be walled off at bottom left, so we'll see if he still goes for a wall. And there goes that SCV again.
You can't do a total tight wall, but you can do like some good SimCity, so that you only have a small gap in this position.
It's a depot this time.
And he's going for it. He's doing the wall.
Yep, it's going to be another semi-wall from Barracks. And meanwhile, I think another 12 hatch opener from Hyun. Yep, that's an Overlord being built.
I suppose one thing Zerg has got going for it in these positions is that you can be in the main and then very quickly retreat to deal with the counterattack. In a way that you really can't if you're over the natural, The main is easier to harass than natural because there's more area to cover.
Yeah, that is true. And there is the drone coming down to the hatchery. Will Hyun build additional drones this time? Probably. If I was him, I would probably would, because back-to-back 8 racks, unlikely.
And he's scouting cross, man? No, he's just scouting up. I thought so. Okay, yeah, there we go. It's good to scout this way first as Terran, because, like, if Zerg sees you but you don't see Zerg, that's a really big disadvantage. So you usually scout where, because you can see that Zerg could be sitting over his natural, right? And you don't want Zerg doing that when you don't see him.
Yeah, you definitely want to get a read on the Zerg player, figure out what they're doing. And the drone, is he gonna walk in actually? Well, this drone might actually die, but at least he will confirm there's no gas.
Yeah, I think that's a dead drone, unfortunately. Is it worth it? Well, no, he's gonna get out actually, look.
Yeah, he's at full health. He'll make it out. Well, I think he'll make it out. I've seen
Unless, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some play. I think I've seen one player have the moving shot SCV, and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, that's so difficult, dude. Because, like, it's actually way harder than the other ones. Like, and it's not easy to do with the other ones either.
When it was happening, I can't remember what player it was, but I just couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, is this what we've gotten to in 2023? We've got moving shot SCV.
Yeah, it's 20XX of StarCraft. People are moving shotting SCVs. People are going like in, I don't know, queens in every matchup and stuff.
Well, we actually got a sunken because Aaron, I mean, Zerg is a little bit nervous about something. I don't know what he saw that made him nervous, but that drone instantly morphed into a sunken colony.
Well, there's a secondary use for the sunken, and that is to deny scouting. Because think about this. Okay, Terran hasn't gotten an SCV in, and the thing is, if you can just scout the natural, that's okay, because then you only have to scan the main. You only have to make one comsat, or you make two and you're safe against lurkers. But now you have two spots to scan. It's very uncomfortable for Terran. It's almost like you gotta guess. Almost.
One mind game that Zerg can go for is show a sunken and then mass ling again. I wonder if he'll try that, because as a Terran player, you see the sunken and you're thinking to yourself, well, this guy can't possibly build lings with this too. That would just be nonsense. It wouldn't make any sense at all. But we don't see any additional lings this time. We have the Spire coming down already.
And a much earlier gas this game, since he's not spamming so many lings. He's actually just gonna go for 6 mutas, by the way.
Yep, we've got the eBay coming down too, so it was a fast academy with fast eBay also, so +1, stim and range are all going to kick in around the same time. We've got a couple of Marines moving out. He hasn't seen any lings try and engage that SCV. He also hasn't seen speed, so that's the reason he has the confidence to make a slight move out like that.
Right. And in fact, there are only 2 lings, so...
Yeah, and look at this. He's not messing around this time. He's saying, okay, I'm instantly getting the comsat because I want to know what this guy's doing.
Yeah, so here's the thing, like, when you make one sunken, yes, it costs some cash, but it costs a lot of cash for Terran to not delay comsats. If you can delay comsats, it's extremely valuable, and he's not able to do so now without taking a risk, which he's apparently unwilling to do.
Wow, we've got defensive 3 sunkens already. Now, where did he scan? Remember, I was talking about he needs to scan the natural, and this time he does, and he does see, wow, this guy has normal drones, you know, he's got 3 sunkens, I can't bust it. Well, I don't think he can bust here, but he's still moving. It's only 1 medic.
Yeah, he actually cannot. But I mean, he can at least ensure that the creep colonies morph into sunkens to cause some damage, but then it's gonna have to pull back. And I was saying that you can ravage the main and go back to deal with counterattacks easily, and this is a good situation for that, because he's got so many sunkens, he can really absorb a counterattack at this point. So Terran, however, having scouted those sunkens, is probably not going to look to counterattack as a solution.
Yeah, probably not. And scanning the main comes down, and I think that's the Hydra Den. And it's a pretty freaking fast Hydra Den for opening Spire. 550 Hydra Den? Well, I think it is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Queen's Nest.
Queen's Nest? Oh, look at this! This is like the B-rank Bane of Artosis build right here, where you're actually just rushing Hive behind Sunkens.
Yeah, but at least there's no evolution chamber for the upgrades. He doesn't have to face +5 Ultralisk, you know, 8 minutes into the game or whatever the actual timing is. We've got the first few Mutalisks moving out. Again, this is lining up to be another Hydra Guardian game, and, you know, Barracks handled it perfectly last time.
Yeah, but this time, there are Sunkens. So now, maybe he has the confidence to just make Guardians over the natural, right? Of the Terran.
Yeah, Terran is still trying to find the 3rd base. We know that there is no 3rd base. I think the scan main actually missed that 3rd hatch, so he still isn't aware if there's another hatch.
Yeah, that's probably why he's out here. Like, it's a good medic snipe, by the way. That's actually huge, because when there's only 1 medic, you can just force stim packs out until the medic runs out of energy and then kill everything. So, you know, killing medics is a big deal.
We've got mutas picking off that 1 medic, like you said, and actually Terran's going to turn around. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Is that double starport already? I didn't even see him build his factory. Holy smokes, that is fast.
Yeah, he's been completely unharassed. This is what you should be doing. Like, if Zerg has never harassed you, this is what you want. You know, if you're like completely unmolested single player, you can do what you want. Now, I hope he's gonna see the Greater Spire, so he scouts. Is that a Greater Spire on the way right now? Yeah, it had to have been, right? So, he knows it's gonna be Guardians. And will we see Valks or Wraiths? Those are his main choices right now, I think.
Yeah, I guess I didn't see an armory anywhere, so I imagine it's just gonna be Cloaked Wraith. And we do see 1 add-on onto the starport. That means that it should be Cloaked Wraith coming in for him. Is that a 3rd starport?
Yeah, it's 3-port Wraith, yeah. Very good.
This is a really strong counter to what Zerg is doing. But if Zerg can get off a couple of shots from like 2 Devourers and then combo with Hydras, all of a sudden the Wraiths will be visible. That makes them a lot easier to kill.
Yeah, Devourers are way stronger versus Wraiths than they are against Valkyries, and that is one of the strengths of going back instead of Wraiths. Wraiths, of course, you know, if you can kill every Overlord, you kind of win. If you don't, get splattered by Devourers, though. Scouting the high risks too, so he knows exactly what he's up against. And this is a 2-base start, it's completely all in. You cannot play 2-base versus 2-base in this matchup.
Yeah, mega all in. And I keep looking at Barracks' SCV count. He's sitting at 39. That's really all you need on 2 bases. He is just building only units at this point.
Oh, but he's expanding with defensive Guardians.
Okay, well, I guess this is a good base to expand to because it's right where you're attacking also.
Damn, okay, I mean, he knows he's been found out, I guess. So he's thinking, like, Terran probably already has Wraiths, and he does, so Guardians of the Natural not gonna work. I mean, okay, there's actually a path to victory from here, which is like, he gets the 3rd gas up, Terran overmade Wraiths, because he thinks, oh, I just have to survive and then I win, but then actually you hit him with the Hydra Defiler play, when Terran is behind on vessels. Maybe that could work.
Well, Goodling got in and saw Starport blinking with no add-on. He knows 100% it has to be Wraith now. You can see he's got 1 Devour. Very nice. Look at this Marine Medic army in the back. Again, catching the units out of position. He's gonna snipe.
Yeah, trying to cut off reinforcements here.
This is such a cool play. I've never done this before. Oh, he killed off the Overlord.
We don't have any detection,
though. Mission.
Oh,
there's only an Overlord on board.
Overspeed. Oh, wow. The sneaky Marines, again, they cut off the Overlords. But there's one Overlord here. But can he just kill it? That's the question. Oh, but the Devourer is walking out of him, so it doesn't matter if he does.
Well, there's only 5 Guardians anymore now, and Aaron's about to have 1/1 upgrades.
Okay, but he can retreat to the hill now, because I think he took out all the Wraiths. Right? Oh, but he doesn't have a Devourer anymore, so 1 Wraith.
1 Wraith is going to save the day. Aaron took a lot of damage, but Zerg was pretty much completely all in. Now he's stuck with Hydras that aren't upgraded, Guardians that probably only have +1 armor. The Guardians in the back are dealing a decent amount of damage, but the Wraith is slowly but surely going to kill all of them.
He's control block. He lost so many Overlords in the fight trying to see those Wraiths that now he can't even make units. And that's going to let Terran counterattack and take it to 3rd if he knows it's there.
Man, that was such a genius move. You know, as the Overlords were going across the map, I was thinking, I hope he gets speed at some point, but he never did, and just sniping those Overlords was a complete game changer because actually it looked like Zerg probably would have won that game if he had detection.
I agree, yeah. He really needed to do that. All of his sneaky Marine plays have been critically crucial, and they've all worked. High risk, high reward.
Well, now Terran's just going to go for the killing move. These Marines are very heavily upgraded. He rushed a 2nd E-base, so he may even have +2 weapon in just a second.
Yeah, at this point, you know, he can just make Marines and contain Zerg to 2 bases. There are no Defilers, no Lurkers, no anything.
You can also use one way to he wants. Well, maybe not. Okay, Lurker's gonna come in, but it's probably too late for that. Man, still
getting
supply block
again.
That 3rd base that he has at bottom middle, it hasn't gone scouted, but he can't do anything with it. Now, this could be a cute move if he can get some hold position Lurkers in between the reinforcements. That's one way to come back into the game to shut down a rallied group of units coming across the map.
Yeah, Lurker counterattack into the natural could indeed be huge. That could be a big deal. Is that what we see on the map there? I hope those are Lurkers for his sake, because then maybe he's got a shot in this game.
Yeah, those are Lurkers. But there's random units right outside the natural. They're going to see them.
Oh, yeah.
Man, look how fast those Lurkers died. He didn't even stem.
Yeah.
Well, that's all she wrote, and that means that Barracks, he is going to be moving into our Deciders match. Unfortunately, Hyun will be eliminated, but I liked the game style from Hyun. It was quite interesting, but I liked the response more from Barracks. Those were really intelligent moves with his Marines.
Yeah, the style was great. You know, he had an army strong enough to win, but Barracks' tactics were too good. He was just in the right place at the right time, cutting off those Overlord reinforcements. And keep in mind, if Zerg hadn't actually sent the Overlords in, then he would have delayed the attack. And you gotta go with the timing like that, so either way, it's just a move by Terran, you know?
So, well done from Barracks. He will be rewarded with a Deciders match versus Saber, and he should be warmed up now, just playing a TVZ. He'll have another TVZ coming up at him. So let's get into our final series of the day. find out who will be moving on along with Best from Group E. Alrighty, in the top right we have Barracks again, and in the bottom left we've got Saber, so we've got cross spawn.
So this is a rematch now. These of course played earlier. Can Saber do it again? I still think he's a little bit of an underdog. I mean, well played to him for sure. He earned that win straight up. But can he do it again, you know? Is he confident enough to beat a player like this? He was a pro gamer back in the day, at least a B-teamer. I'm not sure. So, you know, I'm hoping he's got the confidence because I know he's good enough. I hope he knows he's good enough.
Yeah, and he was in a good position until... like, he was in a good position and Barracks was mega all-in. Like, if that one kill of the Nidus doesn't happen, you know, Barracks was about to be mined out. So it was razor-thin win for Barracks. So I definitely think Saber does have a chance. We're going to have no 8 racks this time around. It looks like finally Barracks is just going to build a depot in his main.
Yeah. In the before 14 command center, which would actually be sick.
Yeah. We do have normal opener from Saber, another 12 hatch, no early pools, no 12 pools. I don't think we've seen any 12 pool this entire tournament so far.
Yeah, only Shine likes it. Oh, whoa, what is it? Okay.
Overpool, okay. We're gonna have a one base.
So this is like not good against standard play in the same way 12 pool is. 12 pool is like always okay because you get faster mutalisks, but here your economy is actually so weak that if it is standard play and if it is scouted, I think it's kind of just weaker. So I think he's targeting 8 racks here.
Yeah, he may, you know, be aware that Barracks likes to 8 racks and wants to blind counter it, but that's not going to happen this time. At least he's cross spawned, so he should have lings out to at least hold the ramp. Well, I don't know. Do you even really want to hold the ramp? Because if you hold the ramp and you don't have a hatch, well, it's pretty obvious you're all in one base.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he's gonna make a hatch. I hope. Well, I mean, either this is something new where it's like even faster. Yeah, okay, it is. So I was about to say, this is like either like one base lurker or some like 2000 era, like 99 build. Or he's gonna make a hatch at the natural and get like the most insanely fast mutalisks we'll ever have seen. It's one of those two.
I do want to point out that the SCV didn't go into the bottom right base all the way. Oh my gosh. I was gonna say if the lings, like imagine if the link just held the ramp and the SCV didn't poke in like he did at bottom right. Well then he would scout 2 bases and not know that this is a 1 base.
Yeah, you're assuming Zerg is expanding, so you don't even go into the main. That's true. At this point though, I mean, it might be a 1 base play, but he hasn't seen natural yet, has he? So.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I don't think the SCV actually got deep enough in to see that there's no natural.
And right now, Saber has to deny scouting for his life, dude. That's the only thing that matters right now.
Yeah, because this is going to be a 1 base lurker bust, I think that's the building at the bottom side of this base. Maybe it's the spire. Regardless, it's crazy either way.
Yeah, this is definitely some, I mean, 1 base Zerg, like, yeah, it's 1 base lurker. Okay, so, but I want to see speed finish so he can really deny this. So, oh no, he's gonna let it in! Okay, good.
The SCV is trying so hard to get in, but okay, speed kicks in and it's gonna be denied, but oh man, if the SCV confirmed that there was no natural, then this is a different story, but now he's kind of up in the air. He doesn't know exactly what this is.
Yeah, he, okay, when the links first came out, he could have been more decisive and he could have actually dived into the natural to confirm it, but he didn't, because you're just kind of assuming it's like a 9-foot expansion or whatever, right? Again, I know what it next, but then he realized, wait, I actually haven't seen the expansion. So a little bit of a mistake there. Now he kind of has to guess. So he's gonna scan the main once and then only have 1 or maybe possibly even 0 scans to deal with the lurkers.
Yeah, I think he may actually have 0 scans because in the main of Barracks there was an eBay at the, no, that was not an eBay at the top right corner of his base. So actually that's an academy. So I take that back. He should have scans to see this. Now again, he needs to scan the natural first, because if you see the natural, you're obviously going to know that this is mega. Well, in this scenario, he would like to scan the main, but overall,
if you don't see a hatch at the natural though, you know it's not mutalisks, because it's not one hatch muta, right? Like people who do that.
Yeah, I've only run into one hatch muta, I think, once or twice. And because of how fast it comes, it's actually surprisingly decent. But there's the scan in the main, and he sees this guy has like 7 drones mining minerals. All he has to do is hold this.
Yeah, like what he's doing, like spam bunkers and turrets. And he could even destroy, like if he scanned with a natural comset, he could actually destroy that to build a new one to get another one. But I think he scanned with the main comset, and he doesn't want to send units back in there, so he's just gonna have to wait for that.
Oh, here we go. This is Saber's entire gameplay. Wow, Sim just finished.
Yeah.
Okay, well, unless he runs by. Look at the medics on hold position. That was a very genius move by Barracks right there. I think a lot of lesser players would not have done that.
Oh, he wasted a scout. Oh, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's just one lurker. So a quick game. Interesting build from Saber. It seems like in the past few games he just wants to end the games early, and neither strategy has worked for him.
Dude, he seems tilted, man. Like, he's actually pretty good. Like, he did well in the macro game, you know?
Yeah, I know. Like, he split the map, and he was fine. He almost starved Terran out, and now he's decided that he just wants to end it early. I don't know what did him in, but he definitely needs to go back to that style, because he definitely had a shot versus Barracks. I hope we do get more econ this game, not just a mega all-in. Our final game, well, potentially final game, is going to be on Retro. We do have, okay, vertical spawns this time. Top right versus bottom right.
Alright, so on this spawning location, Terran cannot do a complete wall where the Marines spawn on the inside. You can SimCity.
I thought they could.
Oh, well, you can. I'm sorry. I was confused. You actually can. I'm sorry. You cannot do that on a certain other map, I think about, but you can. Yeah. You can do that. So it's one of the better ones, actually. On this map, you can do it on every location except for top left, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think that's right. Yep, so this is ideal spawn scenario for Barracks if he wants to go for that wall again. Luckily, Saber is going to scout the right direction, so he'll be able to see the wall, and we're not going to have 8 racks this time. We're not going to have a wall either. We're just going to have depot in the main.
Okay, that's more economical in the beginning because you don't have to travel over there. But of course, it's less economical later in that you have to make a bunker a little bit earlier.
Well, what is the opener going to be from Saber? He really threw us off last game. Is the drone going to build a pool? The answer is no, he is not. So we most likely are going to see the 12 hatch this time.
Indeed. Now, it doesn't look like... Well, it could be an 11 or 12 hatch, we'll see. If he makes that extra drone to start. 12 hatch.
It is going to be the 12 hatch, and Barracks playing very standard racks positioning, standard scout timing, and he will intercept the Overlord. He'll know exactly where Saber is. Now, really, we're just looking for what's the gas timing for Saber, because that tells us the entire strategy. He may actually go hatch before...
He made another drone, so this is 12 of 12.
Okay, I actually thought he was going to put that drone on hold position on the ramp and then try and 3-hatch before pool, but not going to be the case. There's the pool.
Yeah, that's a good build, but if you do 3-hatch before pool, you do have to block the ramp like you were saying, because otherwise, if Terran knows what you're doing, one rack's expansion can actually just bunker rush and punish it, so... Oh, the gas theft! Oh, that's huge, dude.
I think gas steal is so good, even if it delays your command center. It now forces Zerg to either have this weird, very weird gas timing at their natural, which means they also have to transfer more drones, by the way, which they don't want to do because that's less mining time. And if they don't take the gas, well, then you've got the dream build order, which is 5 racks versus 3 hatch, which I think every Terran loves.
Yeah, when in like 2010, when that was like the standard amount, it was like +1 5 racks versus 3 Mutalisk. It was so goddamn Terran favored. I was like, dude, did we finally break the game here? Did we finally discover a strat that's imbalanced with this +1 5 racks into mech? But it was of course actually just Zerg being behind the times. And then they started going 2-hatch and the game became good again. But you're right, it was insanely Terran favored back then.
Yeah, now the Terran knows that this is just an awkward build from Zerg. Look at this, he's not even mining his natural. minerals at least.
I would have liked to see him actually put the third hatchery on location on the third, because we know that that's actually a pretty good build order that people go for willingly. So if you have to go 3 hatch, you might as well do something good, right? Now he's just kind of making a macro hatch, and you know, that's that.
You know what I'm scared about? I'm scared about that hatchery placement and the gas getting messed up in the main, because I think there was a game in ASL where the gas got messed up for no reason. Like he wasn't even close to the extractor, and still the drones just for some reason wanted to go to that other hatch. So hopefully that's not the case, because if I see diagonal mining here and I was Saber, I would probably tilt my head off.
I think if that happens, you can tell it to return cargo to the bottom hatch though, right? If you notice, can't you? Anyway, we got 4 Marines coming in here, and he actually didn't see this, so I hope he's got 2 Marines popping out. He does not, the drone comes out.
Oh my gosh. 4 drones. Okay, if those Marines get behind the mineral line, they're not going to be a good drill. Remember, he still got vision with the Overlord. So actually, this was not a bad move from Zerg. He ends up losing.
That's actually kind of good for Zerg.
Yeah.
Wow.
He killed 4 Marines for 4 Lings, and, you know, Terran's
yeah,
not
keep
gonna
in
have
mind,
1 Marine.
That's 200 minerals for 100 minerals. I mean, and he had to make those links earlier anyways, and now we got mad value out of them. So now any sort of like 2 medics in timing is going to be like turbo weak at this point.
Yeah, but look at the response from Barracks. If this was me playing, I would have instantly responded with Bunker, because I've been worried about Ling counterattack, but his SCV's still alive, so he gets a full read. He gets into the main somehow, and also confirms the Spire timing.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a mineral walked or if there just was a gap there on the ramp, but in either case, getting in here with this AV, seeing the drones come out is just huge, because now like you were saying, you don't have to make a bunker, because you know he doesn't have links yet, at least.
I'm still curious what the actual build order from Barracks is. Okay, finally we have the 3rd and 4th racks going down. Still no 5th racks just yet, but I imagine it should be coming any moment now. Regardless, 4 racks is still going to pack a big punch. He's scaling his econ, and because he got that good scout off, he can delay the comms out, which is amazing.
Yeah.
He's going to have 4 additional SCVs that he normally wouldn't have.
Yeah, that's so huge. And he's definitely making the most out of that. You know, I've actually seen some players in some games, like Light specifically, delay comms sets until getting vessels answered. Like, you can actually push it really far. But he's getting them now. Barracks getting his first comms at the moment, but that was still a very good delay right there. He got a lot of extra CVs.
Really well done. He's at 34, which is decent. He still needs to build a few more, maybe like 3 or 4 more is really what you're looking for, especially versus a 3 hatch. We do have Hyun sending, or not Hyun, Saber sending a drone down to bottom left. That's where he's going to take his expansion.
Okay, so this is very old school, maybe because he's been... Well, I mean, Saber does this a lot, actually. He takes mains and naturals and stuff, so maybe he was planning that anyway, because he does like to do that, but... Back in the day, this is what Zerg did, you know, they went 3 at Mura in the base, in the main, and then they took another main as the third. So that's what we're seeing, basically.
Moving out right now. There's still no Mutalisk out, so... Okay, now they're out, but this is really freaking late, like, very late. And they're just sitting here in the main. They're not even moving out to go to the natural just yet. Sunken's panically being put down by Saber. He's up to 3 now.
Yeah, maybe... Oh, sniping the drone is actually pretty sweet. But okay, maybe he could like counterattack and spam Sunken's, because Terran is quite far out on the map, but it doesn't look like he wants to. I'm not sure. He's gonna have to choose something now, either go kill the army or go into the main.
Yeah, Saber is acting like he wants to go for a big counterattack, but the Marines are just hanging around in the middle. A scan went off bottom left, does not see anything built over there.
He does have the drone at the bottom left hiding, and I like that he doesn't have it on the base, because that way if Terran scans, he doesn't actually see anything, you know? He's just kind of hiding there, and so right now what he's doing is he's keeping this Marine army isolated with his Mutalisks in between the main and the army, while moving up with links, so probably trying to cut that off, maybe isolate it and kill it later on.
Well, if he's going to isolate it and kill it, he needs to go right now, because Barracks is posturing to get those armies synced up together. And if they get synced up together, we're not going to be worried about whether the Mutas and Lings can kill it, because that can't happen. Yeah, what we're going to be worried about is the Marines and medics going across the map and killing everything, because this is 3 groups. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's way too much. He certainly has +1 attack right now as well. And this is just this is so much. Because we had Hive on the way, no third though, and maybe not even enough Sunkens to stop this, honestly. So we can't even counterattack with the Mutalisks.
Another scan goes down at the natural this time. Doesn't see anything. Oh, I heard a couple of medics die, and that will really make this army considerably weaker.
Yeah, that's a really big deal. You know, medic energy is a concern at this point, where if you walk in, force a stim, retreat back out, you'll actually run out of energy eventually. But Tarn is almost at the base right now, so getting an overlord. Oh, that's almost unfortunate. Oh, and he didn't cycle that out fast enough.
The third group's about to meet up. Dude, it doesn't matter if he has only 2 medics. This is so much bio. Okay.
He's already at the doorstep, so cutting off a few reinforcements, but not really.
He's going for it. This is four Sunkens. That's a lot of lings though, but oh my god, look how clumped up they are. How do you engage this as Zerg? Okay, he's gonna get a couple of Stryker Marines, but this game might be over. Look how fast the lings die.
Yeah, still a lot of Marines left. Only 2 Sunkens.
The mutas are gonna hold.
Barely hold.
Yeah, because of the medic energy, like you were saying, not able to hold on, and now some more medics are moving in, but now we don't have the firepower, do we?
Yeah, so Zerg holds for now, and the fighter on the way, but one good thing came out of that for Terran, and that is, basically, there's no Mutalisk presence anymore, so no counterattacks. You don't have to worry about that whatsoever. And that really gives a lot of freedom for Terran Grand out to not be afraid of anything. He can just, like, reinforce this front here. And there's no third gas yet, either.
Yeah, even though
killing the third base would have been better.
Yeah, even though Zerg holds, Zerg is in big time trouble, because if we think about what the Mutas actually accomplished in this game, yes, he killed Marines, but he didn't do any damage, 0 damage to the SCV line, and that means that Terran's just been sitting at 40 SCVs unhindered for the entirety of the game. Like, that's just really bad news for Zerg. Zerg at least has his 3rd hatch completed now, does have Nidus up, so he will transfer some drones, and he's recovered his drone count quite nicely from 28 up to 37.
Yeah,
but we've got a
on the other hand, Terran is going for a tank push, and I don't think that's going to be ready in time before Dark Swarms, so if Zerg holds a tank push and it does no damage, like if the tanks don't pay for themselves by killing several lurkers, that's very nice for Zerg.
Yeah, the tank push does need to do game-ending damage, really. Zerg, I think, had somewhat of a slow hive, so he may actually be able to pop this natural. There's not very many mutas, so there's no way to actually kill the tanks. There's no way to kill the
We don't have the Definer yet. We have the Definer mount, but we don't have a Definer yet.
He's got like 8 lurkers, but you can't engage these tanks ever. There's still no Definer. Oh, he's just gonna go for it. He's saying, I'm not waiting for this. I'm just gonna kill you.
Yeah, I thought he would have a Definer, but apparently not. Consume just isn't done yet, so we didn't bother making one. And I mean, okay, there's a Definer. If we don't have Consume right now, we're in big trouble. He might have radiated the Definer too.
Look, he's firing the lurkers. He's just gonna, even if he doesn't kill Zerg right now, he's gonna at least get the natural. He's knocking down all the lurkers, and this could be it. The Definer was about 10 seconds late.
Yeah, charging in with the Marines as well, because he knows the time is of the essence right now. He's just obliterating Zerg this time.
Wow, taps out, GG comes out, and that means that Barracks, he is going to move on in 2nd place. And you could see that Barracks was feeling it. He's like, I need to end the game now, as he was stemming his reinforcements across the map.
Yeah, you don't know if there's, like, you know, a Defiler hanging around, you know, about to throw up a swarm. So just go kill the Lurkers right now with whatever you have, right?
Yeah, so razor thin timing from Barracks. It was really well done. I loved his build order the entire time. He is going to move on along with Best, so unfortunately none of our Zergs make it through. We get a look at how today went. It was Best over Hyun, Barracks over Saber, then Best over Saber. Hyun struck back a little bit versus Barracks in that series, but still ended up falling. And then unfortunately, nothing went well for Saber in the final series. But overall, I think Saber, he played pretty decently. Like, the first game was obviously the best game of the day, but Barracks just a little.
He lost to a gas theft, by the way, in the last game. That's actually what cost him.
Yeah, his build was just all over the place, and you know that's just happens sometimes, right? It's like the Pylon Scout on a 4-player map and you get gas stolen. That's what happened to him, except he's third.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for us today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and again, thank you to Voddy for co-casting with me. We are done with Group E, and we'll be coming back with Group F in the near future, and I'm sure that will be an equally good group, so definitely tune in, and we'll see you there.
Yeah, thank you for watching, good games, and see you next time.